Hello, Internet, and welcome to the 21st episode of Tales of Terragia. You know what that means? That means we're legal, baby! We can drink and do all kinds of crazy stuff. Not that it ever stopped us before, but welcome back. I am your Dungeon Master and Cosmic Tour Guide, Nick Solentano, and these are 6 players that I just found on the street and lured into my dungeon and convinced them to play tabletop role-playing games. Say hi, random strangers!
Hello!
Hello. Thanks for joining us, and before we get started real quick, go like, subscribe, follow, anything that you see that says Tales of Terragia. I guarantee you it's us because no one else had that domain yet, and we scooped it right up. So go find Tales of Terragia and follow us, and we'll be bringing more stuff to you. Last time, the second law finally brought the story of the Terragia cult and its evolution-obsessed leader, Selka, to an end. Once a prominent scholar, Selka's discoveries within the Lost Woods, such as the egg of a titan, an ancient and long-lost being of incredible and incomprehensible size and power, drove her to a maddened obsession with evolution. She had plans to hatch the egg using its embryonic fluid, dubbed lifeblood, to fuel and twist and mutate her followers to unleash a cleansing upon Terragia, wiping out anything that wasn't strong enough or worthy enough of living in a world retaken by the Titans. While Selka has been defeated, her lair hidden, and the cultists dispatched, you still carry with you her discovery. The enormous egg of a Titan held within a trans-dimensional cube, currently stashed within Sledgehog. An egg that Selka claimed was not too far away from hatching. So what you do with this responsibility, second law, is entirely up to you. But first things first, escaping the Lost Woods. As you walk away from the pile of flagstone and dirt that you left behind, burying Selka's Titan's trove beneath, you see before you the ever-changing and mind-bending Lost Woods. You know that somewhere out there are small clearings marked as Gorin posts, waypoints where you can wait for rescue. Rescue being a very generous term. These points are left behind by the residents of Foundtown, a community of people who never escaped the Lost Woods and instead have set up their own sort of survivalist community here. So a town, ironically, full of found people that are still very much lost. But as you kind of set out and into the Lost Woods, heading towards the Gorin post where you last left it. A few of you were just there. Actually, I think you all were recently just there. That's where you reunited. Only about a mile or so away from the point that you are now in. If you do venture out into the Lost Woods, I will need someone to roll a d6 for me, please. You are still in the woods.
Who's it at?
Going from the place to the post stop again?
Were we...
I can't remember if we were going around or not. Go for it.
5.
Fine.
Great.
We'll get back on track.
Yeah. Start us off on the right note.
Come on, everyone. It's just back this way.
Yeah, you had the map, right?
Yeah. Yes, this way.
Ironically, 5 is unencumbered travel, so you make it to the nearest Gorin post.
That way.
Wow, you're really good at directions.
I know.
Easily able to make your way there. You kind of see it in the distance before you reach it. A small clearing with large stones kind of set in a large circle, each with a small glowing rune on it that dully glows a faint pink color. And there's a single lamp post in the middle of the clearing with a dull pink flame. Sign taped to that lamp post, and the small kind of community chest sit into the ground at the base of it. You also still have 2 companions with you. Both Kiln and Mjork are still with you guys, and they are tagging along at least for the time being until you deem them unwelcome.
Didn't they want to deem themselves unwelcome?
They did do that a little bit.
Certainly did.
Kilton's like leaving, right? You spotted him like leaving.
During the fight.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was.
He was
Yeah.
you, like,
yeah.
convinced him to
Did
stay.
you tell anyone that?
No, I mean, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
It's probably not too surprising.
Yeah.
But now we're
Well,
just like
we were
waiting
all
at the bus
pretty
stop, right?
distracted, so I think you were the only one who actually saw that.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Wait, someone was near me though.
Me, but I
Harmony.
was unconscious.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Okay.
That's right.
Good to know.
You keeping up hot stuff?
If I'm assuming that's referring to me, or any kind of points to shoulder and points to more kind of belts. There's a little like flame, which smells very sulfur.
Prestidigitation.
Thanks, Harmony.
So are you actually gonna stick around?
At the risk of losing my way forever, yeah, if that's all right with you guys.
Well, we almost lost you back there.
But you didn't. Kind of like pointedly looks at you.
Well, aren't you lucky?
Yeah, we all took a lot of hits there. Well, I'm glad we all made it out of there too.
Yeah, that was freaky, right?
Yeah.
She
That's
achieved
really a-
what she wanted to, I guess, which was that grand evolution, but at what cost? She definitely lost herself there.
She got the big scary wings. I'm glad we got rid of that. It was spooky.
So speaking of lost, do we think we can actually get to Foundtown using this
Well, they
waypoint? Or
they should come
whatever it is?
pick us up, right? It's
And
within a
I
day, I think.
And you said that you had also seen another one of these types of spots too.
Yeah,
so
we did.
if there's multiple of them, then the chances are high that there's some sort of system that this is running off of. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that the people from Foundtown have devised a way to be able to navigate for themselves. It seems like they at least have a system to be able to get to and from these posts back to the city. So
Otherwise, they would just be wandering for days, weeks.
Can I go up and read the sign on the post and see what it says? Because doesn't this thing like change letters and read to like whatever
Yeah,
language I can
the one that
interpret?
does it look similar to the one we used before?
Looks exactly the same as it does before. As you kind of go up to the sign, once I find it.
I think it maybe said last time how long a cart might arrive. I wonder what it says this time.
Once I find
It's
it.
so high up there, it's hard to read.
Hop up there and get it, Hawks.
Sunshine, give me a lift.
What if we stack? What if we stack?
Okay, wait, you get on my shoulders then.
Oh, what if you get on? I'm bigger than you. Okay. I'm on your shoulders. Okay. Let me
we can't
see.
just read it for them every time. They have to also learn to do it themselves.
you know, practicing literacy is very important for continued education.
You don't
gotta
learn if
yeah.
you don't try yourself.
Yeah, it's important to read.
As you kind of get up there, you see that the letters are constantly shifting, but the closer you get, they kind of just solidify into whatever language you're most familiar with. Be you lost, you now are found. Take rest and refuge in Found Town. You are safe at the Goran post. Next Shepherd escort, one day.
Oh, so it's just it says it'll be here in one day. So
And also that we won't be in any danger.
Yeah.
We should probably set a watch while we wait though, just in case.
Just
Sure.
I'm gonna hop down.
okay. Stuck the landing.
Yeah.
Well, the box in here before had some like camping stuff and things, so I guess maybe it's just safe to just camp here and wait for a thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what's gonna show up, but what other choice do we really have?
Will we wait?
Just like pull out some rations. Just
So long as you remain within the circle and Goran post, you gain the benefits of a long rest. And the rest of the day, you arrive at the Goran post mid to late afternoon, but rest of the day continues without pretty much any thing that happens to you, and you do notice as you kind of stay within the ring of these stones, with runes on them. You can actually see, especially Nik-Nak with the goggles, are able to see the actual like forest sort of like shift around you. Not actively. It's not like trees are standing up and walking or moving, but when you look in one direction and you look in another, the next time you look back at the direction, it looks completely different. But nothing seems to shift within the circle.
If we see that happening, then I'll probably just spend like a good amount of time like sitting and like observing it and like and writing kind of notes down of if I can see any patterns or if I can get any sense of like, is it similar to the ones around how it moves around Prismari? Just like anything I can kind of try and gather or infer from
Give me
what
an
I see.
Arcana check.
So like in the Feywild, like trees would actually like have roots and they would move themselves. So this just makes sense to me. What do you make of it, Harmony?
Well, you know what my thought is, dirty 20.
30. dot.
It seems more like
It is both kind of reassuring in the sense that you do learn something, and the sad part of it is that you learn that there is, at least doesn't seem to be any kind of rhyme, reason, pattern. There's no repeats. There's no it like repeats every 4 times, or it like leads this way. Pretty much every single time you look in a different direction, the way you look back is different. Whether it be a subtle change in like the leaf color, or just there was a literal path through the woods and now there isn't one. Different like you see in the direction you came from. The only thing that stays consistent, the direction back towards Selka's old lair. You just notice a bit of a change in the flora and fauna. It looks a bit more prehistoric, Jurassic. The flowers are bigger and more exaggerated. The colors are different. It looks a bit more Jurassic Parky in that direction as opposed to everywhere else. It's the only thing that seems to be constant, which I'll say you also notice.
Well, it really doesn't. It doesn't look similar to the Feywild portals that I've seen around Prismari. It's kind of all seems to change. When you're not really looking at it, maybe it's a little more of like a perception-based magic or trick. It could just be some form of inherent magic that's not really like something that we could really copy or quite perceive, and it could just be one of life's mysteries.
Neat.
But if you see anything,
Maybe it's like a
anything new, let me
haiku
know.
pattern, like a 5-7, or what? Maybe what? Okay.
What if you look that way and I look this way, and if we both switch at the same time, and we'll see if we see anything.
Okay. I see trees.
1, 2,
Trees.
3. Trees!
Where's this bus?
And we just do that like, for like a minute. I don't know.
Are we there yet?
Maybe some things aren't meant to be understood.
Smart. I like that.
I'm getting very wise. It's all we've just, we've experienced so much together in these couple weeks.
Yeah.
Maximum.
You're not wrong though.
We've been through so much,
It has been a lot.
but we kind of have.
No.
I feel as if
Truly.
seeing Anara swing her sword, I've gotten even better at swinging mine around too.
Yeah, I've learned a thing or two.
No, it seems like
We want to
Just
talk
yesterday.
about what we will do with the nest.
Oh, yeah.
I know we talked about possibly leaving it underground, but we still have it. Do we trust it in the hands of anyone or anything? Or
I still think Professor Veyron would be trustworthy and would keep it safe, but I understand that you all haven't met her before, and if we can think of something else that would keep it safe, that's okay with me. Or maybe
did
we
you
hide
say
the
that
key.
you trusted Zakkai before?
Well, she wasn't always like that,
Okay.
but I never met her before. But I know Professor Veyron, and
Okay.
she's my mentor and one of my teachers, so I can be a little more sure in that.
I think if we give it to anybody, we should probably not give them
Yeah,
the key.
keep the key.
Hide them in different places.
Having them stay separate to ensure the safety of it would probably be the most rational.
But what happens
Way
when
forward.
it hatches?
Well, that's another idea, is that we don't know too much about this egg and the Titans and what would come about from this. They were clearly doing experiments and trying to learn more about this, but the knowledge either died with the cultists or is hidden away somewhere. So there's a lot unknown about this, which is why maybe sharing it with your professor, at least the knowledge that it exists, to try and find other people who might have more
Yeah,
information.
that's true.
First step.
What do you all think? I mean, because I'll have to present my final projects soon, and the map, just Selka's map alone, it would be quite an addition to just the general knowledge. But I could tell them more about the Titans and other information that we found. I could tell them about the nest. I mean, that would definitely get me an A. But what do you guys think?
What about not saying that we found it, but rather that your studies suggest to you that there might exist such a thing?
Yeah, something that's
Oh,
not as
a
definitively.
hypothesis.
I
You
still
hear
have
a sort of
the
like scoff from across the ring as Killen is like, sounds more like a bee.
a B.
You're sort of burying.
Oh,
the
you
lead.
mean the grade? No.
Great.
No.
I'm saying if
Absolutely
you
not.
think you found something, that's not A.
Well, I did
Found
find
something.
this, and I still have the paper, right? It's like a schematic of.
Yes.
So, I mean, they don't know that we also have the actual nest. We have
Just
a
maybe
drawing of it.
circumspect about handing it over and saying, "Look, we found this thing," rather than see what they react to its possible existence.
Anything that becomes
Yeah.
public knowledge can then be utilized by the public, and that includes not so
bad
great people as well.
Yeah, not to mention the power of a Titan can probably be pretty tempting to use, especially if you were very knowledgeable about it in the first place.
Yeah, seems nasty.
I
So
agree.
some sort of hypothetical. We
A
found this
theory.
information,
A
this
theory.
theory that we are
Mm.
stumbled
Maybe
upon
this was-
developing.
Laying
conjunction-
the groundwork for future
For practical
scholars to
scholarship.
investigate,
Mhm.
and just how I tracked down what once was thought just a mythical map that couldn't possibly exist anymore. That turns out I found it. Yeah, the nest can be the next. It's for the future scholars of Terragia.
You could
Wow.
Sounds
write
like
a
real-
write a research proposal and get funding for it.
You're totally right. I'm
That was
gonna make
beautiful.
sure that I tell them all of that.
Charitable.
Kiln, there's nothing higher than an A, but if there was, I would get it. Just so you know. Okay,
Real humble.
we'll show the. It's okay if I know that I'm smart, then I mean, I'll just embrace it. Everyone has their skills. You're very good at being sarcastic and throwing your swords, I guess. It's an unusual choice, but whatever works for you.
Shade.
It works fine.
Okay.
The other thing is that, based on the reaction to the presentation, we may learn something
Yeah.
about what the next
I
step
think
might
they'll
be.
let people watch my presentation, so maybe who's the best at reading people?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe I can
All right.
discern reactions.
So maybe we make sure that you're watching everybody when I show them the picture, when I describe what we know so far. Maybe you all can help me. I don't want to over-explain. So maybe if you give me a little guidance on what I should make sure I don't tell them,
Yeah,
help
We
me
can-
be a
we
little
can-
more
We can come up with
Perhaps
some
discerning and
some
a
guidelines,
level of detail that
for-
makes sense.
appropriate information.
Okay.
Yeah, we got
And,
you.
and at the same time, I think keeping the key
separate.
entirely separate at all times. Even
Maybe
if
not
you're-
even
We'll
mention
keep
it.
the key safe.
No, yeah, they don't
Yeah, but
need
they
to
don't
know
know
about
about
anything to access
Okay.
it. Just
just
the
idea
fact that
this is
this might be out there in the world,
Yeah.
and most likely is because this group was very vehemently pursuing it. They were taking drastic action to do so, and that is how you found all of the information about the Lost Woods, was because they were so sure that this thing was here and that they were finding it.
You should be careful about mentioning any details of Port Elsewhere and what happened there.
Oh yeah.
With the
There
train.
was a large explosion,
Would they know?
and
They probably would have heard about
that may
it.
not be something we want to.
And,
Like we're
and
going
about
to
the.
Grisha.
Like we're going
about
to
the-
I was gonna say we were in Grisha though, so
Would they also probably have
yeah,
heard
like,
about
what key?
the hand and the it was not a briefcase, but it was like a box attached to the.
it was the nest attached to
It was
the
the
end.
nest
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
But I don't think.
I don't think there
I
were
don't think
very
people heard about that.
specifics to that.
Yeah, I don't think the public knows about the box.
The
I
constables
guess you
seemed
just gotta-
a little bit inept in Port Elsewhere. They were distracted.
I guess what
Made it decent.
you're trying to really say is like, well, what if you found a Titan egg and that's what's the case? Like, yeah, that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
What do you do with a Titan egg?
A postulation on Titan eggs by Harmony.
That was a big word, so I would give it an
A
A.
plus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few more of those. I mean, how could they say no?
Yeah, 4 or 5 syllable words in there, good to go.
It goes up that many.
I think this is.
You can have
Oh.
your high grades
Cooking
and
with harmony.
keep your Titan eggs.
Cracking
which
an
you all seem pretty confident on being able to escape an unescapable forest.
Oh, well,
I'm sure we can figure
we,
it out.
With the second law.
we think that we'll be on our way out of here probably pretty soon.
But not sure how you're going to get out though.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
I was kind of hoping that you guys had a way. You mentioned a way out.
Well, Mork can
Well,
come if
perhaps
he
you
wants
could
to
be
come.
More polite.
Mork looks great in his slip
Perhaps.
on it.
We might be disposed to help, but you're not really showing any signs of warmth.
Which is ironic.
We should make him a friendship bracelet.
I could
Make
knit,
him a
I could knit
bonnet.
you a matching bonnet for Mork.
You have to at least
yeah,
wear a
yeah,
bonnet.
yeah.
if
I
you wanna
think
wear
if you
it.
wear the bonnet while we wait
Yeah.
for our ride, that
Tem
would
immediately
prove to
starts
us,
on a bonnet
Yes,
for
yes.
That
for
would
Kiln.
prove to us that you
There's
consider
that,
yourself.
there's that faint summer-like heat shimmer kind of coming off him constantly at this point, but he doesn't say
I
anything.
slowly like gravitate towards like, ooh, it's warmer here.
He's like slowly inches away,
like-
and you'll it's a slow circle around the post in the middle.
Ooh, that's bonnet.
Oh, it's looking good.
Yeah, I'm using my most fire-resistant yarn to knit a matching one for Kiln.
New York seems to actively not be scorching or damaging his little box.
Awesome.
He's constantly wearing it. Anytime that Kiln tries to even like kind of go for it, he just kind of hisses and kind of pulls it down a little tighter.
I wouldn't if I were you. He's very fond of it.
It's fine. It's fine. It's just not. We had like a motif. We had like a thing.
And now you can have a new one, both of you, together.
Nothing wrong with new things.
You'll look great. It's gonna be awesome.
You can see that he desperately wants to say something, but kind of will like shoot a glance over at Anara, having scolded him for being nicer, and he will just like smile with his little pointed teeth and just.
Make sure you leave holes for his horns.
Does anyone wanna?
We have
Do a little
to,
fencing
We have to
practice?
wait a full day, right? It's coming
Sure.
next day.
Oh, let me switch sword to something a little heftier. Take the switch from my like rapier to the at least like the Titan short sword. And like you're just like doing the full like it's just totally
like
two
totally
different styles,
telegraphed
like,
like swings.
and just two totally different styles
Yeah.
like of fighting. Like okay, this could be good. I mean, you learn more this way, right? Like okay.
Am I doing it right, Anara?
I'll sit cross-legged and watch, and then occasionally just throw in a comment like footwork harmony.
Like this, and then I'll like
Side on,
throw a
side
kick.
on, keep your eye up, keep your eye up. Defense up, defense up.
What
My
about these
shoulder's
kicks?
higher.
And I'll just like start scissor kicking in the air, like Liu Kang falling back,
Precision.
somersault back up.
Precision.
And to do that.
Precision. Basil. More precision, less fluster.
Okay.
And it goes on like that for hours. But I'll say, even without having to choose who it is, the person who has the first watch of the evening, it's only about 2 hours in after sunset that you do see something moving through the woods closer to this little post. That same kind of pink glow that's coming from the runes on these rocks, you see sort of like bobbing a little bit through the trees, getting closer and closer. Whoever wants to make a perception check. So I'm assuming you'll want to peer ahead before anything arrives.
Is a 26.
26.
Oh, yeah.
Got a 1.
That's a little too short. A little too short.
Guys, move!
Sledgehog just like rolls in your front of your way.
Anara, you see sort of like bobbing through the trees, the same glow, and you see it's coming from a very similar rune on a very similar stone. A large, maybe like 2.5 foot by 2.5 foot large stone that seems to be tied with rope, chain, whatever they had, to the front of this large creature. Imagine a cross between a mole and a skunk, but about the size of an elephant.
Whoa.
This kind of large, lumbering creature covered in like rough fur, dark fur.
Attract everyone's attention. I think our ride maybe it's our ride. It looks.
Oh.
I've never seen such a creature before. Anyone?
No.
Nope.
Harmony? You studied?
I don't think so. Do I have any special
Give me a
knowledge
nature
of
check.
this?
Can I go up and pet it?
Tem, what about you?
12.
Never seen anything like this.
There's strange
Does it have any
things in the
obvious
woods.
big teeth, claws?
Does it look
I
like
mean,
a
does it
predator?
look ferocious? Does it look like a predator?
True. Yeah.
Forward-facing eyes.
It does seem to have like large kind of claws on the front, but they look more
Like for burrowing?
for burrowing or like practical use, maybe self-defense. You do notice as it kind of gets closer, it's sort of on the front of its head is this large stone, and you see that it's sort of the stone almost seems to be pulling it forward. It will follow the stone. Its eyes have been cut out, and they're scarred over. The eyes have been removed.
Oh my gosh.
And is it coming directly to the pedestal there?
Seems to be.
And I believe whatever our ride is, I think. It's not a vehicle exactly, but wow.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like
Is
this
there
before either.
anyone on it?
With that perception check, yes, you do see that there are 2 humanoids that seem to be accompanying this creature. One is riding it just on the back of the scruff right here behind the head. A half-elf man in about his late 40s, very tattered, scraped together kind of patchwork clothes. Also wearing a blindfold tightly around his eyes.
Like riding it, like
Yes.
controlling its motion.
It doesn't seem to be controlling it, just riding it.
Riding it, okay.
There doesn't seem to be, there's no reins, there's no seeming to be method of controlling it. And sort of walking along beside it, you see a half-orc woman, maybe like late 20s, early 30s, also blindfolded, and sort of like holding a hand out to kind of touch the creature to feel kind of where it's going as it sort of like lumbers its way. Maybe 60 to 80 feet from the post, it stops and kind of like hunkers down a little bit. And you hear kind of echoing through the trees, "Hello! Anyone there?"
Hiya!
I'll respond in Orcish.
Oh,
We're waiting for a ride to Fountain. Is this the ride?
You hear back from that half-orc, the woman kind of shouts back in Orcish, "You found it."
Do we climb on or follow?
"We'll come to you." And she kind of like says something in more of a hushed voice to the person riding it, who sort of nods and kind of awkwardly climbs down off of it. Hard to do with a blindfold on, but they both kind of climb off of it, kind of feel out for each other before they find one another, holds hands before kind of turning and walking towards the post. The creature seems to like remain where it is, but they both.
What were they saying?
They say that it is the ride, and they're coming to us. I guess we talk to them.
Okay.
I don't
Why are
think they
they-
can see us.
Yeah, why are they blindfolded?
Should we cover our eyes too?
Well, they'll probably tell us what to do, but
Why are
I think I might have been right
Eh.
that the forest like shifts based on our perception. So maybe they're blindfolding themselves so they can
make their way through?
navigate without the lost woods changing around them.
And why are we here? We should probably have an answer when they ask.
Oh, that's a good point.
we got lost.
But why did we go into the forest?
'Cause
We
we're
didn't
not
know.
very
For my school project, and you all were going along
That's
with me
good.
to make sure I
We
stayed
didn't
safe.
Perfect. School project. Great. And brick.
I wanted to map it,
Go
and we
team!
got lost. That's all true.
That is, it's not a lie.
It's not
It's
a
just
lie.
not all the
Okay,
truth.
let's see. Let's see. Maybe,
See, I'm getting
maybe they want
nervous.
You kind of like it takes them a minute as they kind of wandering through as they sort of feel their way before eventually one of the man kind of stops and you see he touches the stone, one of the stones with the runes on it, kind of breathes a sigh of relief, tugs the blindfold off and rubs his eyes and looks at all of you and oh, greetings. I'm Doran. This is Kyla.
Does she also take the blindfold off?
Oh yes, she yells. As soon as she kind of enters the ring, she'll remove the blindfold, and he kind of like bows his head to all of you. May I first say, I'm very sorry. We wish we could be greeting you under better circumstances.
Just thank God.
What happened?
Yeah.
We're
Why-
lost in
Where-
the woods forever.
Yeah. Oh, yes. That's very horrible. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
coming.
for
Yeah.
finding us.
We're really grateful. We thought we'd be stuck in here
We
forever.
read the sign and saw you come in a day, so thanks for coming.
Yes, absolutely.
What is that thing?
We just call them sniffers.
Can I pet Sniffers?
Yes. Just approach slowly.
Yeah.
Gently, and before you get any closer, you might want. He kind of reaches into a belt, and you see it on his belt. There are several like lengths of fabric, just kind of like roped in. He kind of pulls one out and holds it up to your head, kind of like prepared to blindfold you.
Yeah. It's
go
okay.
on.
I think that's what we need to do. To,
What are those for?
Yeah, why were you blindfolded?
It's to keep the woods from
Basil the
distracting
tree.
you.
Yeah.
You were right.
Wait, I should have. Okay.
The
Yeah.
woods play many,
work on
as I'm
me.
sure you've
Thanks.
encountered if you've made it this far. The woods play many tricks on you, and this just helps with some of them.
We,
We've been
Oh, some of
separated.
them.
and
yeah,
Lucky enough to find each other again, and we decided that it was better to wait
To just
here
stay.
this time.
Wise of you.
not
Very
seeing
few that
woods,
venture into the woods are ever seen again.
And this
So-
allows you to navigate through the woods without becoming lost.
No. They just safeguards us from being distracted by any visuals. Sometimes you will see versions of yourself or loved ones or great treasures or something that is enticing to you, but they are all always lies. There are different ways that the woods change that the blindfolds do not protect, but thankfully it kind of taps the stones with the runes. These waystones help us at least get from one to the next. Unfortunately, none seem to be outside the woods.
who?
Um,
Yeah, who put
waystones.
these here?
Before
Did you
we,
build
yeah,
them?
tell us more about these waystones.
I wish I could. They have been here since before my time.
No way.
And-
When's your time?
Kind of like looks over to Kyla and kind of back to you. I've been in Found Town for about 8.5 years.
Do you know how many waystones there are in the Lost Woods?
Yes, I believe we've counted that there are, or at least there are many waystones with the posts. You mean the Goron posts? There are 15.
Oh, okay. Do you
And-
have them all mapped out? Do you know where they are? And
No. But the stones know where they are, and he kind of gestures to the stone attached to the front of the
Oh, so they're all
Oh.
linked to each place.
In
Somehow.
a sense, they at least will be drawn to one another.
Yeah.
Is it a 1-for-1, or do they feel all of the waystones?
The colors draw one to the other. Kind of points to the pink rune and then the pink rune on the snippers.
How often do you find people at
Um,
the stone?
you'll be the first that we've encountered in about 2 months. We haven't had any new residents in Fountain for 2 months. Space is limited, and you will have to work your way into society, but we will find a place where there's always jobs.
How many people are in Fountain?
Jobs.
Roughly maybe 200-300. Well, 307 now.
Kiln, you could get a job.
How often do you come check these? Every day?
Well, every few days we try to send a scout out to each post every few days, just in case there are any stragglers and the other poor souls that manage to find their way to one of them.
Does
Well, we're
Fountain
really
have
grateful.
Crops? How do you provision yourselves? Water, food?
With great effort.
I guess
You
if
do notice that as you ask those questions, the more that you sort of study the man and the half-orc woman, it makes
Not look worthy.
They look
okay.
they do not look great.
Okay. Well, we're very grateful to have been found.
Oh, yes.
What's next? How do we get to Fountain?
I understand that it might be difficult to process, and I'm sure I'll have hopes to escape and see the outside again.
I wanted to finish school.
Well, we have been we have set up a sort of a learning annex.
You could be a teacher.
We are short on educators. If you have any specialities or anything like that, it's most appreciated. We do need any young, strong individuals. It looks like you're all capable, at least with a weapon. Fountain is always under constant danger, so we're always in need. And anyway, foragers, and anyone that can harness it. We only build what we can out of what the woods provide us.
Well, Nik-Nak is good at building things.
Yeah, do you have like metal readily available?
You speak, and the half-orc woman kind of jumps a little bit, and she's like, she talks! She has never seen a kobold.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I can talk. Kobold.
Forgive me, I've seen reptiles before, they've
Yeah.
just never spoken to me.
Oh, that's fine. Lost Woods must be doing a great deal on these people.
He was fine with the talking rabbit. He was fine
Yeah,
with that.
I've seen a heron con before, I guess.
Yes, there is a Haragon in there.
No.
Oh, there's
maybe they
one.
There's
Yeah.
There is one, right?
Downtown.
I will say I have not seen one like you or you before.
Not surprised about that, but I can talk too, as you noticed.
Yes. But
Logical.
it's well, it depends. I was about to say it's about a day's journey back, but it could be a couple hours. It could be a week. So we can leave whenever you are ready.
Let's get going, please.
I got a 12 to get close to, what was it, Snuffles?
Oh, it's the sniffers.
Sniffers? Yeah.
Well, a 12 on what?
Animal handling, at least.
That's exactly what I would have you roll. You sort of like get closer, and the like kind of large snout like exhales sharply, and it sort of blows the ears back a little bit. And he sort of like hunkers
Footwork,
down.
Basil, footwork.
Slow and steady.
He's a natural.
That's what you do.
It mirrors you, but the wind is like you get a little bit of moisture from it, but eventually it sort of like lowers its head a little bit, and its nose kind of stops, like right here.
You like nose boop. He's a good one.
So like shakes its head a little bit before
I'll just like blindfold and just like hop right up top.
That was precious.
Did it look like it never had eyes, or its eyes were removed?
Its eyes were removed. They're scarred and like clearly it had eyes at one point.
I'll approach the sniffer and be like, huh?
Make an animal handling.
Make sure it's not gonna attack me. Not one.
Now one.
Plus whatever, but it's not gonna be enough.
Does an 18 hit?
It does.
Okay. You take 3 bludgeoning damage as one of its large kind of like mole-ish kind of claws, like just reactionary. You maybe moved too quickly, kind of like how you
okay,
jump
he's just
scare
musty.
a
He's just
cat or a
musty.
dog, quickly turns and almost sort of both. You can tell it was clearly trying to guard itself, but just without vision, it sort of unintentionally swung and hit you.
So it's
knocks the
like
wind out of it.
more like in self-defense.
It's more of an instinctual reaction. Didn't seem to be actively trying to.
Don't mind our
Follow
friend.
the guidance
He's
of
Kylo
Ren.
Ren.
just gotta
You have to be careful, they can't see.
We need to make sure that we're all
Do we ride?
My
able
fake
to-
ribs.
Yeah.
Or do we stand near and hold on?
I just got up top. Sorry.
No, you're more than welcome to ride. We about 4 or 5 can ride at a time.
I'll be on the ground.
But yeah,
Or we can walk by.
stay close. Stay close. And he sort of like pulls more blindfolds from his belt and sort of hands them out. Like, you don't have to wear them, but it is recommended. Groups have become separated and we've lost some to the woods.
I'll put a blindfold on, but I'll also put my senses into slink
Mm.
while holding next to the rock, so I can sense through the blind side the immediate surroundings at least, and so I'll keep a check on each of our group,
I got you.
except for Kill.
Tem
He's-
has,
I mean, I'll keep track of it.
Yeah.
But maybe if he got separated.
He does
just
keep
yeah.
pretty quiet throughout the whole interaction.
29 and more.
And just sort of like occasionally nodding
Most
or
one of
whatever.
us.
He refuses a blindfold.
oh, it
he
doesn't take
refuses-
one.
He does not take one. Or at least Kiln doesn't. He just kind of...
He wants the
That's-
bonnet
Yeah.
instead.
You
I'll
can,
take one.
you can pull the bonnet over your eyes if that's easier. Because it's done now, so here you go.
Put it on. Let's see it.
It's a good color on you. It matches your.
What color is it?
It's pink, like Mork's. Yeah.
Actually, as well, so.
Yay!
Puts it on, fixes.
Yeah, I
horns
had
through
the
it.
horn holes. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Perfect.
You know, you've never looked better.
I think it's gonna bring you and York closer. I mean, he really, you know,
not laugh.
he's your buddy, and
You're like,
That's what we.
I'm sure he
cold.
appreciates matching.
Thanks.
And then Tim will take. I don't know if York wants one. A tiny little strip of fabric out for a little tiny blindfold for.
More kind of like looks at it, sits for a minute, and then just
I tried.
I tried.
as it sort of like singes and burns up in his mouth, it turns to ash and just kind of becomes part of the mouth.
Good boy.
You kind of reach out and tap it. It's not quite like touching a hot stove, but it's pretty like a piece of the sidewalk or pavement that's been in direct sunlight all day. It's a
Good.
little.
Could cook a egg on you.
Cooperation
Like,
looks
nods a
good
little
on
bit,
you,
like,
Calum.
I've made breakfast out of it. I will not lie.
Yeah, Tim takes like a silk ribbon out and he's like, I have my own.
Alright, let's follow the blind people.
I'll climb up on top of the sniffer and then I'll put my blindfold on, but like kind of just like only over like one eye, and then as we're going, I'm just kind of like adding to the map and like adding the waypoints and stuff.
I'll be like sniffing for things out there. I'll like wear the blindfold, but like, not seeing, engaging my other senses, just in case anything interesting, that sensory information comes through.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna get up on. I'm gonna just walk aside.
And as we walk, I'm gonna try to keep in tune with the earth to see if I feel any movement outside of the familiar footsteps around us.
Are you wearing the blindfold?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Because some people are wearing
Wearing
the
the
blindfold.
blindfold,
I
right.
want to know
I'm
who
wearing,
actually.
but I'm also sensing through.
Yeah, I'm wearing and I'm using my
Also, I
my,
want
my
to
theses.
stand holding the right near where Kayla is,
Mhm.
because I want to ask her some questions.
Are you wearing the blindfold?
I will wear the blindfold, but I will sit on top of Sledgehog and have him guide me.
Yeah, maybe full spread out, like on top of Snickers.
Also, do I have any extra knowledge of waystones?
Roll an Arcana check for me.
7.
7. It's something. It's one of those things that you read about as like very primitive magic that eventually grew into. It's like it's the equivalent to the telegraph that sending stones would be to a telephone or a walkie-talkie. It's more kind of like waystones are more like, oh, those are like a thing from ages ago. That's like when magic was new.
Yeah. Okay.
But they kind of set out and start walking. Did you said you wanted to ask?
Yeah, I'm just going to talk to her a bit in Orcish and
So they also both fix their
have
blindfolds.
How long have you been last in Fountain?
I was born in Fountain.
Oh, so your parents were here. How long ago?
Well, I don't really know how long they were here. They didn't remember. Passed away. We lost them to the woods.
Do you know where
about
they
8
were
years
from
ago.
before?
No, I was too young to be asking those types of questions or be listening when they told me, and I sort of wish I had.
Well, it sounds like a difficult existence.
Your dialect is quite good for not being an orc.
I spent a lot of time among orcs. It's where I trained.
There are a few of us in Fountain. Is a bit of a mixed bag in terms of the community,
I would imagine.
but we make do.
Well, I look forward to seeing what kind of place it is.
Don't get your hopes up.
No.
She kind of just... There's a sort of somberness to them in the sense that it's as if they're at a wake that the dead don't know that they're at yet.
Yeah, they were sort of resigned to it.
Mm-hmm.
Sad.
Actually, for fun, I will not roll. Could someone roll a d10 for me?
Elliot?
Sure, I'll do it.
Also, as I'm sitting up there,
10.
I'm going to spend the time also attuning to the cloak that I picked up.
3. That chooses... Oh, great. Instead of 3 days, it's only 3 hours.
3
Excellent.
hour
Is a 3-hour walk that you're kind of on before. For the first time since you departed from Cowrie, you see a sign of civilization, if you can call it that. Ironically, in one of the wildest and most untamed parts of Elverin. Between the trees, you start to see flickering lights. The trees start to thin, and you see large stones and boulders sort of scattered about as you get closer. Some of them so large they clearly have always been there, while others look small enough to have been moved or placed. Each one bearing a rune that dully pulses a pastel blue, pink, green, yellow. You see a few different colors. They all in that kind of light, dull pastel family. And ahead, you see Fountain, a sort of small village designed by the Swiss Family Robinson, basically. A collection of tree houses, small homes. You can see that this place is built entirely out of necessity to survive. Everything is used in some way, shape, or form. You see parts of old wagons transformed into ramshackle huts or domiciles. Tarps that were once skyship sails now provide shade. All manner of ropes, pulleys, and zip lines crisscross above you that link the various tree houses in the tangled canopy. As you enter Found Town, the reaction you pull from people is mixed. Some hurry out to see the newcomers. You see eyes instantly kind of like look to you, and you see a lot of crestfallen faces to see that you are not the person that person hoped would be here. Others don't even bother and just go about their day, sort of glancing up at you with saddened glance of pity or despair. More victims of the woods, doomed to rot here forever. Others rush to you, shouting and begging you for help. That you see that the man and half-orc kind of push them away, making a path for you all to get in. But a lot of them kind of run up to you and are begging to know how you got here. Do you have a way out? Take me with you. There's a lot of desperate people that immediately come flooding out. Instantly, Kiln is at one hand on a hilt of a scimitar almost at all times. There are, sadly, all manner of people here. You see elders, perhaps once great adventurers, now forced to retire. You see women, children, families even, aren't sure if they came here as one or perhaps were formed here. Second law, welcome to Found Town, where newcomers are mourned and no one ever leaves.
Does there seem to be any obvious
Different vibes.
organization slash? Is there a
So sad.
not government exactly, but like elders?
Yeah, I was gonna.
As we
a
get
mayor.
to the town, are there people who we're being taken toward? Is there a? Does it look
Who's
like
the
there's any
shiniest
kind
looking
of
person?
hierarchy?
Who has the tallest
You know what
hat
I mean?
on?
Just I'm trying to get a
Town-
sense
the
of
town
is
council.
this just a random group of
It's a
people living
hat-based.
together, or is there, are there elders? Are they?
You see
Who
that
else wears a monocle?
there are a few that seem to be regarded with more authority. The two that escorted you, for one. There are a couple that you see. There are a few lookout posts kind of at the edge of the small town that sort of look out into the woods. Those people also, you see blindfolds kind of loosely around their necks. There are weapons. Not a lot of them. You see people are not very well armed here, and basically, to answer your question, the people that seem to be in charge and earning the most respect are the ones that are armed,
Okay.
and the ones that can fight. Otherwise, this place does seem to be a collection of people trying to just
Just trying.
survive here.
Hmm.
While it's called Found Town, it is barely a town. There are barely
hovel.
buildings.
Yeah. Are there anything that looks like, I don't know, tavern, or I mean, does it have
There
even
are
that
found
level of
shack.
or is it really just
Dwellings.
dwellings?
Primarily dwellings.
Okay.
There are a few places that seem to be like they're the closest thing that you see to like a tavern is a small, almost a grand version of a lemonade stand, or a sort of like a plank on top of two barrels and a
It's very
sign.
makeshift. Wow.
Well, this sucks.
This is picking up.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
Oh, sail.
I guess I was expecting it to feel a little different when we got here. But
Well, these people are stuck here. You know,
Um,
I was not
guess
expecting
that
a
makes sense.
joyous.
Acquiring resources must be extremely difficult.
Well, we should definitely try to help them. while
Yes,
we're
I
here.
was thinking that when I noticed their clothing, if they need help patching, repairing anything, to begin there.
You know
That's
what
a
I
good
think?
idea.
You know what I think this place might also need harmony? Maybe some more of your music. That's a good way
That
to
would
brighten
definitely
up any
cheer them
music.
up.
Yeah.
Maybe tonight I can just provide some
Mm-hmm.
ambient entertainment, little background music. Also, are we together as a group, or are the other
I
two
mean, I think
still
we
nearby?
We all, like,
like
hopped off.
entered together, right?
Yeah, actually, I'll say that you have your if you want to, you have privacy as a party always whenever you want to.
Sidebar.
Just tell
Okay,
them.
yeah. I feel like if there's like a moment where it's just kind of
So-
us around and the.
What is our plan on getting out
Well,
of
we should
here?
definitely be
about
quiet about leaving
later.
because it seems
Yeah.
like everyone will be very desperate to leave.
And upset.
I want
because-
to, as we
So
come
let's
in,
also be sad,
Yes.
like we're stuck.
Yes.
of the different reactions.
Sad eyes.
I mean,
Oh.
I'm actually sad.
Sad
This is
eyes.
terrible. All these people are suffering horribly.
Well, yes, yeah.
Oh. Oh no.
But
Can't believe
I-
we're stuck.
I want to just, among the reactions, I want to see if any of them are in any way concealed but hostile. Is there anyone who's sort of showing signs of
Get a vibe check.
Give me an insight check.
ambition,
Give me an insight check.
hostility, or anyone who's like looking at our arrival as some opportunity?
Do like new fish.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a 19.
19. Not a lot of them. For the most part, a lot of the looks that you sort of like notice that your group is getting is that sort of like, oh, poor,
Yeah. Okay.
poor
So
folks. There, not to say there isn't some. You do catch the occasional, primarily from the ones that are guards or security here, the ones that are armed. There is a bit of a sort of a
sizing us up.
yeah, sort of an eye narrowing a lot towards items,
Yeah.
weapons.
I-
Sledgehog is getting a lot of attention.
I'm gonna make a mental note of those people who it looks might be have more sinister intentions rather than just sympathy or curiosity.
Mhm.
And I'll just kind of keep a mental note of what they look like. And so on.
By no means a lot of them, but you do see a small handful of those looks.
I'm just gonna know where those people are.
Maybe we should definitely stick together and
Yes.
maybe
Perhaps find
watch
a
our
spot we
backs.
can talk without being overheard while we decide what our next move is.
Mhm.
This is not what I expected at all.
Yeah, I was imagining
expected
we'd spend a little time
town.
here.
Yeah.
We'd help out a
A
bit.
community.
It would be like everyone would be really
I
happy.
don't know why I thought that.
Do you need
Yeah,
do you
and then-
need community service hours for your
Oh no,
projects
I
too?
finished those very quickly.
course.
But
I did extra.
yeah, I finished those right away. Yeah,
No,
maybe
these are downtrodden folk, and
maybe we help where we can and then not
Yeah.
linger too long. I didn't expect it to feel quite so
I'll say
dangerous here.
to Kayla, again, when people arrive here, what happens? Do we find a place of our own? We responsible for just staking out a space? What happens? What's next? I mean, we're new
Well-
here. Can you give us any guidance?
About all I can spare to give you. Newcomers, you're more than welcome to find a space. There's some space over at the north side of the village, but otherwise, the only thing that we ask is that you do your part, support the other residents here however you can, and don't go far, at least not without either a sniffer or a guide. And if you stop seeing the stones, she kind of gestures to the stones that sort of like
The
dot,
dot around,
yeah, that's
yeah.
kind of speckle around the edges of the town. If you stop seeing those, you've gone too far.
Okay.
And you might not find your way back.
So they're just like empty homes and houses that just
I
set
think-
up, or Or
If you
just
plan
like-
on building any,
The old one.
Neat.
Do you
Um,
have
dig a
family
hole.
here or other friends since your folks are gone?
there are friends that I've made. Yes, not any more in the way of family. Say, you all know one another? I take it.
Yeah.
we were traveling as a group.
Thank you
That's
for your
fortunate. Very
for your
fortunate.
help. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, and I don't mind the onlookers and the desperate folk that are still a bit deluded, that thinking that you might be able to get them out of here, but that doesn't stop them from trying something. So we are a supportive community for the most part. Just always in these sort of situations, desperation can bring out some of the worst in people.
Understood.
We'll
I understand.
we'll bring some good. We have skills, I'm sure, that can be of use to
Yeah.
help out.
But oh god, I can't believe we're gonna be stuck here with.
yeah,
Yeah, I guess we better
Mhm.
start making ourselves useful.
right.
Yeah.
So,
Planting crops.
ooh,
Uh huh.
Basil's good at that.
planting carrots.
Basil can grow carrots really well.
mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fantastic. There's very limited, despite being in a place entirely nature, the woods don't provide much in the way of vegetation, at least not edible vegetation. Did any of you eat any of those orange flowers?
No.
In the woods? Did you
No.
not see those?
What are the orange flowers?
They're not flowers. They're creatures. They just look like
Oh.
flowers. If you
Oh.
see large orange flowers, do not touch them
Oh.
or go near them.
What do they turn into?
I mean,
I have a
They're taking notes.
Yeah.
I mean, they stay flowered looking. They just have teeth on the inside instead of
Ah,
pollen.
carnivorous flora.
Whatever you can like to call it.
Okay. Wow, that's fascinating. And they're everywhere? Are they in certain locations? I would just start like grilling them about like nonsense.
She tries her
Not
best
nonsense.
to like say like, oh yeah, here, sort of here, but also here changes to there, so it's hard to predict. So she tries to like do her best to explain what she knows and can.
This
The
is
other
great information.
the other half gentleman and has already taken sniffers and kind of like moved on and do a kind of perimeter patrol and build on around the village.
I guess we'll move toward an open space,
Yeah.
away from
Find an
if we
empty
can,
plot of land.
curious eyes, and
Where
we
do
need
you...
to discuss what we need to do.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So Brecky at 9? Great. Just start walking out to the distance.
Thank you, Kayla.
You're welcome. If you need anything, I will do what I can. And there are a few other friendly faces here. We do our best to help one another, so we'll do our best to try.
Where do we find you?
And she kind of points up to one of the tree houses up in one of the like larger trees. Stay up there. That's where me and a few of the others stay. There's no room up in the canopy at the moment. The moment we have vacancy, though, vacancy for 6 might be a wait, but then again, maybe perhaps not. We do tend to lose some every now and then.
Is the canopy safer than the ground?
About equally as safe, so long as you're within the ring of the stones, you should be fine.
Oh, okay.
My sister always said to take the high ground, though.
Before we go, I'll also say to her again in Orcish, just between you and me, is there anyone we should be wary of?
Make a persuasion check.
No, terribly uncharismatic.
Oh, with advantage.
With advantage. Okay.
You've set up
need it.
a
I need it.
rapport.
An orcish bond.
13.
13. You see that she kind of like pauses and hesitates for a moment before. No one you need to be on the lookout for.
Is she telling the truth?
Without even needing a check, she says that, but you do catch a very pointed kind of like look towards you, and then she kind of glances up towards one of the lookout posts. You see on top there is a elven man with a bow and arrow that's being sort of on guard, looking out into the woods itself. Before looking up there and looking at you.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear it, and I give her a look indicating thank you.
Of course.
All right.
Well, let's get settled in our new home.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we'll go make our permanent camp.
All right.
As soon as you
Thank
guys
you,
are
Kayla.
kind of alone, Kiln does sort of like lean in and be like, I'm wearing the bonnet. Can I get in on the secret now?
Oh yeah, hi. That was voluntary. You did that yourself. You put it on.
You know, locks and tusks are very valuable in some places.
All right, everyone.
But
Wait a
probably not
second,
here,
what did you
though.
just say?
Yeah, all right, everyone. He's playing along. He's one of us for now. You can take off the bonnet.
No, he can't.
I don't like that note about his house, though.
Yeah,
He can
that's
take off the bonnet.
It's
something
fine.
threatening.
I'm not
Fine.
threatened.
Apologize, please.
I'm sorry for speaking the truth. Now, is there any inkling on how you guys plan to get out of here?
He's just jealous of your horns.
Kiln, why don't
Because
you
they
just
come out of my face instead of my head.
be a little more
Yeah.
polite? Try your best to be a little more sociable, and we will probably help you.
Yeah, I thought
But
we were
try a little bit.
getting somewhere. But,
Yeah.
You know, 2 steps forward,
Please.
1 step
Thought we were
back.
getting warmer.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna at least make some spare clothes for these people while we have the time.
I think that's and what is it? It's like evening, late.
Yeah,
afternoon?
like early evening.
Early evening. I think, as much as we can
Since we're going to be
help
leaving
and set up and
mysteriously
we're alone
disappearing.
now, I assume. Yeah, we're like leaving in the middle of the night, right?
Well, they
I'm
said
leaving.
that people get lost all the time, so I'm assuming if we just disappear, that's not unusual.
Maybe we do a few
I will
fake
let her,
footsteps.
I will say, Kayla did indicate not everyone here perhaps has our best intentions toward us, and I just pointedly look up at where the lookout, the elven individual on the lookout, and say,
Maybe
just,
we-
no, but no. Just so let's be very careful that we're not being watched before we make any moves.
Yeah.
But I don't think that if we disappear, they will think too much of it, considering people seem to go missing quite often.
Yeah, we're new.
So I just assume it'd
I
be
feel
they
so
try to find our
terrible,
way
though.
out.
These poor people, they have no hope, and they're
Right.
just stuck here.
I've been thinking, and, it might not come to fruition very soon, but I can think of some ways that we could maybe help them. I want to maybe, while we're still here, take a little more look around the town and just really, I want to map the town because I'm going to add it to the map because that'll really be a great addition to my project. But it will
Sounds
help.
like extra credit.
But it'll help maybe someone a little more powerful than me will be able to make it back here to try to help, or if we can just kind of find more ways to sort of locate Found Town within the Lost Woods magically, we can maybe start to establish
More of a connection to
more
the
of a
outside.
connection, help solidify the location. Higher level mages will be able to get, but it's a little long term
right,
of a plan.
but we can't save everyone right now.
we can't do that
unfortunately.
right now. So
One possibility, perhaps taking a look at these stones.
Yeah,
I
wanna
yeah.
look at
Just-
the
on
stones.
I want
bringing
to walk around the perimeter with you. too.
indications of the runes back
Okay.
to some place of learning.
that's what
Yeah.
I was thinking. If
Maybe
there's,
we can construct some wayfinding device outside
Yeah,
yeah,
the wood.
it's a good idea.
to
the
help
more information that I
people
can
who want to
gather,
leave.
the more we can
I
probably
feel
have a
so bad for
professor
these people.
help,
I know. Me
Look
too.
at them; they're lost.
and the higher grade I'll get. So
Also,
maybe
it would
we
be
split.
nice to help them.
I said that first. I said that first. Yeah. Maybe we split.
How long are we staying?
I think we
Not
should
long
leave
at all, I don't
tonight.
think. The longer we stay, the more chance that something happens.
That we attract attention. We should be on.
We still have
Careful
the
watch
nest.
tonight.
We
A very-
need to get out of here. I
I'm
think.
very guilty conscious
Quick
about this
nap
whole
and then
thing,
go?
but I would hope that we can set them up with some help and then provide some sort of long-term connection that we can do in the outside world for them.
Wait, we have the nest.
That was going to be my next question.
How many people can fit in the nest? It's a big room.
Well, I think-
Well,
Oh wait, there's an egg in there. What?
and
but
yeah,
also,
We-
yeah,
we
but
don't- shouldn't-
if know
if-
these people yet.
That's
enough
true.
To know
I'm just saying, we could smuggle some people out in the
Real-
nest if we really needed to.
Logistically,
We can think of something.
with our
I think there's
Yeah,
an
that's
idea.
with
here.
our way of leaving, I believe it is a limited ride in terms of bodies.
Well, if they're in the nest, they are in a pocket plane, and they
That's
won't count as a
true.
body.
no idea what the interaction.
Yeah, how will
But
that
but we probably shouldn't
work?
let people in.
But we also
Yeah.
don't want random people inside the
Yeah,
egg.
I don't
Yeah.
think.
My
and,
other
and look, if we're trying to lead people back here, hopefully they'll be saved anyway.
my other point was going to be I'm not sure where the teleportation to Prismari will take us, right? Like within Prismari, or is there like a teleportation room
The quad.
that I can assume? Yeah. that I
You're-
can assume we'd pop in.
You're not 100% sure. You do know that there are a couple of teleportation circles within the college. There's one that you know of that is, ironically, literally in the center of the sort of like main campus, the sort of quad area.
Mhm.
There are a couple that are reserved exclusively for like teachers, and there are some that are more ones that will teleport you out of the Sylvan Dynasty entirely are highly kind of like regulated and shows like the staff and the actual like teachers of the school decide who can use them.
If I look at the scroll, and I'll kind of turn away from Kiln a little bit, and just kind of look at it. Can I try to remember if I recognize it as the quad circle?
It is.
Oh, okay. Well,
I would also say, I believe that if any of the individuals who may not have our welfare as their primary intention, but possibly make a move sooner rather than later, so we should be absolutely
I don't
on
think we
guard.
should sleep for sure.
We need to leave soon and
But
not be observed.
regarding
Certainly.
the nest, though, when we teleport out of here, we'll end up
Gesundheit.
in the middle of
Surprise.
the Prismari quad, so it'll be a little harder to potentially hide the nest once we leave here. What do we want to do with it? If we either have to do something here with it, or be able to hide it, or do whatever we're going to do
Is it
once we're at
Not in
Prismari.
Sledgehog right now.
What do you think, Sledge?
It is right now,
Yeah.
Why don't we?
Well,
leave it?
okay.
but you don't. We shouldn't give it to them,
No, just
right?
bury-
We're just
bury
going to
it
give them
here.
the picture.
We can always find our way back here. And if we take the key with us, no one can ever get in. Maybe the safest place to leave it.
Somewhere here,
Yeah.
where people get lost trying to look for it. That's not a bad idea. But
We'll know how
Do
to
we
find it if we
venture-
need to. We'll have the key. No one's going to pick that lock, right? Nik-Nak?
No,
I
no.
can't
I
imagine.
think they need like 12 picks for that pick.
Bury
Yeah.
it. Let's bury it here. We can always come back and, with help from your school, we can come back with another.
That's true. We could always use magic to find the nest if we needed to. And maybe, do we have a
If we
way?
leave it in Fountain.
If it's hatching soon, shouldn't we be watching
What,
it?
what
Yeah, I think we
happens
should
if
hold on
something
to the
happens
keys
to
Or further
the?
away from it when it hatches, then
Well, it'll
having it in
hatch
Sledgehog.
into a large, very large room in a pocket dimension. So
Well,
I
who's
think
to
we
say?
should keep onto the keys
Yeah,
in case we
probably
need to
bigger
check on
than
the
the
egg
room.
regularly.
Yeah, if
We
we
don't
don't,
know
it
it has
might
a little
break.
blinky blink.
Yeah, there was a monitoring system that they had set up there for it,
oh, that it was beating.
Yeah, there's a big
and
In
If
magic.
it blinks another color, we should
Right.
want to go in there.
Do you think
If we don't
should
have the key,
check
that's a
how
bad
fast
idea.
it's beating before we
We might want to
Slink,
make it
we
just
might
keep
want
report.
to take another look at it before we
just
go
to
anywhere.
see if the rate
Yeah.
of pulsing
Focuses but doesn't do anything.
is faster.
I think we should probably check on it.
Yeah, most of us can stand guard, and then a few go in.
I have an idea. If everyone here is very afraid of leaving the circle because they don't want to get lost, why don't we just finish up whatever we need to do here and then leave the circle? We can always teleport whenever we need to, from wherever. We don't need to be in Fountown, and
Right.
then maybe no one will follow us.
Or I
and
guess
we'll
we
be-
can just
wait,
take the first
we
ride out of here.
Think. Do we know that the teleportation circle works in the woods?
Do we know
Well,
that?
I don't
it's
know why.
here?
I don't see why it wouldn't. It's just a teleportation scroll that the school
our
sent
our
me.
other magic has worked
There's
fine.
been, yeah.
And actually, it might work better in the woods because these stones might dampen the magic.
Yeah.
If it's
Yes.
dampening whatever's happening with the portals, whatever's going on in the woods.
As we're like
It's
walking
kind of
around,
protecting
how
the
big are
space.
some of
Mm.
these stones?
Yeah,
with
they're not the
and such?
waypoint stones. They're different.
They're more like
They're just like
monoliths.
standing stones or something.
The ones that are sort of surrounding the town.
Yeah, yeah.
They're very sized. Some of them are like boulders that are huge that have like a big rune kind of carved into it. Some of them are small enough so you can fit in your hand that are kind of just littered throughout. It's almost kind of like an Easter egg hunt.
But there's nothing magical or special necessarily about them, or is there?
I mean, they all have a rune
glowing.
kind of
More.
in it that does glow a little bit. That seems to be the same effect as the runes around the posts that you've encountered. This just happens to be a town-sized ring instead of a.
Okay.
Zakkai, are you able to move any of these? These big ones?
That's a good question.
Because
Uh,
what if we make this circle bigger?
Okay.
It seems like there might be.
I'm gonna try to move one of them.
All right. You like.
Tem, just
It's like take a second to talk about it.
Roll a d20, add your wisdom modifier.
Immediately do the same with Basil's hand.
19.
The one thing that keeps this town with a semblance of safety.
Yeah.
We're gonna start manipulating it.
You like thrust your hands out towards.
Downtown from here and put it over here. That's my thought.
I'll ask what there's all sorts of sizes and
It's
shapes
like
of them.
Nik-Nak and
What are you
Stonehenge.
picking? A larger one, medium-sized one, tiny one?
A medium-sized one, like a nice big, like a big rock.
Everybody moves it
tall.
bigger at the same time.
At the largest.
Everyone pick up a stone and move.
Yeah. The circle gets bigger, this town gets bigger, and then it's no longer lost.
Well, we figured it out.
It's just the woods then.
You just
Yeah.
You thrust your hands out towards this boulder.
It's too late.
You like concentrate with all that you
I pretend
can.
I have my monocle on. Yeah, like, what's it doing?
And there's like a faint little there's like a faint bit of like earth dust that kind of like shakes off of it.
He's doing it. He's starting to believe.
That's about it.
Okay.
Maybe,
I'm assuming that
these are weird rocks.
there's some sort of arcane protection on them.
Yeah, probably for the best.
the scroll you have, is it a single-use item? So we need to be careful about how and when we choose to use it.
Okay, Sky, we need to
Yes.
be careful.
I think we need to
Careful.
make sure that we're
Yep.
Okay,
alone.
I'll try that.
And maybe, and I think
Unobserved.
out of the town might be good, just so no one, much less chance of someone following us.
Kiln, can we trust you to keep this to us?
If we take it with you.
Yeah, we'll take you with you. Or with us.
Despite your insult on the bonnet, we will take you with us.
I'm wearing it, aren't I?
Should we try to maybe take at least one person out with us so that, I mean, that would be a pretty big discovery to have brought someone from Town out of the Lost Woods.
First-hand accounts are very enriching for academic research.
Oh, to be used
Kill
like a
him.
test subject like that doesn't. And if they don't have anywhere to go, it's different for them, and it's in a new place. I don't
That's
know.
true.
About Mork, does Mork always exist corporeally, or are you able to kind of dismiss and summon him from the ether at will?
No, I mean, no. He's not like a. He's just there. He can be a cloud of smoke, but that's about as not physical as he can be.
He's,
Okay,
he's-
no, we
If he
can't take
dies,
anyone
he
else.
dies. If that's what you're asking. I know wizards can like make animals appear and shit. He's not like.
Right.
Mork is
okay.
Like hisses at
Well,
So you're bargaining for a ride for two then.
I mean, we're kind of a package deal.
as seen by the bonnets.
Okay.
We've got a motif.
Yeah, it's eight.
Look
Yeah.
at him playing
one, two,
along.
three.
Yeah,
4, 5,
6,
6,
7, 8. Yeah.
And Sledge will have to go in a bag or something.
Yeah, but he's
He's a
construct.
But
Oh,
he counts
but
as
like-
he counts as a creature or no? Sledge.
object.
It's probably for the best if we put him
Just
in
to be
the back
safe.
or something.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
how
We
else
know
do we
we can't
travel?
go. We can't because he has
Oh,
the
yes,
egg.
he's got the-
inside him.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So he won't be able to go into the bag.
But if he doesn't count as a creature, then it's.
No, if we don't have the nest with us.
I do.
Then it works.
Right. There's too many options.
I know.
If we leave the nest here, it's
Okay.
the safest place.
I like that idea. I think we.
Unless we need it.
We can always come back.
I just don't like
It's
the
gonna be hard
idea
to
of
come back.
Someone else could find it.
Yeah.
a nascent
People
type.
have nothing to do
It's
here.
It's
Yeah.
not difficult to find this place. It's difficult to leave.
Well,
And we know-
that's a big part.
we
Right.
know better
We can
how to
get
navigate.
another-
Worst case scenario.
If they wouldn't want this nest, so they would.
What is it, Harding?
Okay.
Like
If we
lightning
need to
bolt,
come,
lightning.
worst case scenario, if we need to come back, we all blindfold ourselves, tie a rope around all of us so that we're in a line, take the orb of direction, tell it to go to the nest, and then we all just start walking.
As long as we have a way back, I guess that works.
Why are you guys
Well, we
even
won't-
discuss the topic of returning here? Why would you want to come here?
It's just it's just an intellectual game.
I think
I
the
still think it's the best.
I think we
possible
should.
place to keep the nest from being.
I agree. I think
I don't
people
know.
will be
Is this
extremely
just
reluctant
washing
to come
ourselves
find
of
it.
responsibility, though? Wouldn't
No,
did we
no, we're-
form second law to protect people, to
Yes,
take
yes.
things into our own
This is
hands?
protecting people.
But you said
What
we
if the
don't
egg
know.
hatches and then
What if it
something
hatches?
What if
bad
it hatches when
happens?
it's in Sledgehog?
Yeah.
If it's going to hatch, it's going to hatch
but
either
then-
in Sledgehog or somewhere where we are not.
If
And
it
keeping
hatches,
it
it is
with
we're
us.
keeping it away
But we-
from people and finding out what it means and then coming back to get it.
I don't know, but if it's got the blinky blink, we can't monitor it if it's not here.
Right. If we're just
But even
I
if
say
it
we
hatches,
dumping
hold
it-
onto it.
even if
Can
it
it get
hatches,
out?
it can't physically break out of another plane, another dimension.
we don't know. We were able to
I'm
get in
assuming.
and out.
Right? Can I check to do like a?
We were able to
You
get.
got a
But
It
we
is a
had
Titan.
we had a key to open like a physical representation of the thing between holding the planes separate. What did you say, Arcana?
Mhm.
9.
You know that like kind of destroying a pocket dimension or sort of like breaking out of it without the necessary like pathways to it is insanely difficult in the sense that like it takes archmages to do something like that.
Right.
However, you are unfamiliar with the capabilities of a Titan.
True.
There's
I
just
mean,
so much
Maybe just
unknown.
cast banishment on
Which is
itself.
why we shouldn't take it with. I think we should leave it.
It might know
We're
that's
about
known.
to travel to a
I don't know
place
what that
with some of
means.
the most educated people in the world.
I was just
We're
playing
going to
along. I
show
didn't know
them
either.
a picture of it,
That's what
telling
my
them
mom told
about
me
it.
I've been tied out.
Find out
Oh, she
information.
banished you?
and
We'll
we
ask.
always can
We can
come
ask
get
more
it.
information. Then we're surrounded by some of the most powerful magic users that can come back here and deal with it.
And just to put another spin on it, what if our story of it is so persuasive that these extremely powerful scholars and wizards decide they want to take it from us?
You
They
said
believe we
yourself
own
that we
it.
don't know the intentions of everybody.
It's true.
And
I
here-
just know
into-
our intentions, and if we are nearby to protect it, that's
But
a, a
it's
secure
foolish
way
to
of.
think that we'd
No
be
one will
best able
find
to
it
protect
here.
it.
No one will
against
find it
anybody.
here. This is the safest place for it.
I could take it off your hand.
Kiln.
Yeah, I bet you.
You're not helping
You can
yourself.
keep whatever key if you want.
I think.
Double
I
no.
think at the very least, before we make a decision, should we just check on it again?
I do think before we leave, we should check on its
That might inform our decision.
whether it has changed.
If
in
it's
its
already
rate of
on its
casting.
way,
What if it's hatching now? What if it's hatched?
Okay.
What it could have done.
Kiln.
Hmm.
What do you think?
I'm sure you know plenty of bad people that would want to exploit the power of a Titan.
Oh, dozens. But from what I've gathered, box, interdimensional space, egg of a Titan. Guy buried a fucking lead, but all right.
Surprise.
Kind of mind blowing.
Key to it, unbreakable lock. I got all the points.
Yeah, for the
Missing
most part,
anything?
yeah.
Cool. That sounds like fuck ton of gold.
Okay.
well,
So we don't tell him where it's buried.
yeah.
Mhm. Unless you want to come back here.
I don't necessarily mean a fuck ton of gold and you just hand it to somebody. That's dumb. You take the fucking gold and kill the person who is going to take it, and then you find the next one.
Okay.
Solid.
Because
plan.
if they want to use that thing for bad stuff, probably should die anyway, right?
Mr.
Well, we
Logic
won't
over
lure
here.
anyone to their own murders, but I see this
You
the
asked.
reasoning.
Alright,
We'll
listen,
hand
I was
it
really
to-
hoping for better,
If we
buddy.
can,
I-
if we can
I really-
ensure,
I really-
How is
that's
that not a good
fast.
idea?
if we can ensure all the safeguards in place, separating it,
Believe
the
in a
key
person.
out, putting it somewhere here that is, despite already being in the magical lost woods, still very well hidden and protected, not being a attention grabbing, you know, when we share the information that someone's going to necessarily try and come specifically for that, but rather just to learn more information
Yes.
to then try and solve this problem, which we have all taken on as our responsibility anyway. We've all agreed that even if we're leaving this here, this is something that we are all involved with now. There's not really any going back from this information. I can't live my life
I agree completely. Ted.
Not
I think
knowing
we're all in agreement.
that
Yeah.
we aren't trying to work this
I just
out.
think
We're
this
all
is
in
the place
agreement,
where
and
it
this is
can
the safest place to
probably
keep
do
it.
the least damage where we learn more. I'm not saying we abandon it here forever. I'm saying this is a safe place. It can't be found here.
Well,
I don't want to come back though.
And it was hidden here for hundreds of years.
I would like to save these people at some point too. It's very sad to
guess I
see
just-
their
Yeah,
plight.
but we send
How do we
back
hide it
arc,
from the people here, though?
archmages or
Well, they
That's
don't
what-
seem to venture out too much outside of their little area besides to pick up folks, I think. It seems like they are very worried about losing and getting
And really,
lost.
they don't even look at their surroundings when they leave here. They blindfold themselves every time they leave. So it's really, there's no downside to us just walking out of the area and then.
what about the next
teleporting away.
party that walks
I-
in that can
do
detect
think-
magical objects and they find it?
I have an
They
idea.
can't leave here.
What?
They can't leave here with it.
Unless they
We're
had a
we're
teleportation
probably going to be
circle
able
like
to leave.
us.
There's
But-
a not zero chance that someone else will find it.
But that's why my idea.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to figure it out.
We're
If
smart
we-
enough to figure it out.
Nik-Nak, you've been collecting metal. Do you have at least some amount of, if we have enough lead and we can craft a barrier of lead around the box, that should stop any sort of scrying
Scrying.
or divination
That's
magic
right.
from finding it.
But won't that stop us finding it with a...
Oh yes,
But-
if that's our
but-
yeah, to-
We, at least as individuals, have seen the area and are familiar enough with it to be able to travel back.
It would mean we would have to hide it somewhere in Foundtown.
Yeah. Rather than in the fort.
And I don't like
for it to be a fixed
For it to be
location.
a fixed location that we know we can get to if we need to.
Is that true? Is the rest of the map not considered a fixed location like
I mean,
that?
it all kind of moves around at least in the
But
in
also,
a like
but does
magic
it,
sense.
But does it actually move, or does it
or
mess
does it?
with our perception?
Right.
It sounded like the places near the ruins.
Well, our directions
don't
can't move.
and the forest moves around them, but
Yeah.
they maintain stability. That's why.
There's also
This
weird
place doesn't
creatures out there. You
But
know,
even when it moves,
magical
remember
currents.
the orb, it still tracked it the correct direction.
It did.
It just changed.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I
there
think
would
it
still
is
be
perception based. The
So the object would still be there.
I think the movement is really happening. It's the like tricks that's perception based.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
the
That's
seeing,
true. Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
ghosts
Yeah.
of each other.
Yeah,
But it's
et
still
cetera.
possible to track things location-wise. It just would take longer if things shift while you're in the process of walking to it. That's because that's how the orb
should
was
have
working.
just buried it with a friendship bracelet.
I still think that
Hindsight's 2020.
if we really want to save these people, we could still put them in the nest. I mean, they don't know what a Titan egg looks like, and
I don't know if we
Well,
know
how
them
is
well
that
enough to know who
conversation
we
going to
should.
go, Nik-Nak? Hey,
show
everybody.
that-
hey, we're gonna get you out of this
Get
woods
in
that
the
you're trapped
box.
in. No questions
Come to
asked.
this giant dimensional.
Yeah, why not?
But
A lot of these people here are adventurers. That's what they said, so they might have actually already known about certain pocket dimensions and things of that sort. Also, these people are desperate.
We can come back.
that's
later.
we're about to.
Good
S-
idea.
As soon as we leave, we tell the professors, and they send people back.
False-
It'll take 2 more days.
False hope could also be more damning to them than anything. So if we get their hopes up and then it doesn't happen, we could have a bad situation on our
They
hands.
don't look like they got enough gold to pay for the way out anyway. You charge it, right?
Plus, we're so
I don't
concerned
really
about
care.
hiding the nest and the Titan. Why would we put a bunch of strangers into it?
Yeah.
All right, well, I mean, I don't care if they get out or not. I'm just saying, we wanted to save them.
We're
They
just trying
can't
to do
afford
something
them
nice.
To learn about
Good job,
this.
Nick.
We can't afford for them to learn about this.
I think the greater good is to protect whatever this
Keep it
Titan
hidden
egg,
to keep it safe.
Titan egg means.
It will only take a
Keep it
couple more
secret.
days
Keep
for
it secret.
professors to send either themselves or other people or
People
anybody
know
that can
about
come.
Found Town. That's like a knowledgeable thing
Yeah, like a
outside
myth.
of the woods.
Yeah.
Why would they come? They already know it's here.
And they also know that people don't leave.
But no one's known where it was. I was the first one to have a map.
We didn't find it because of the map. We found it because we found a waystone.
But it was on the map.
We could tell them
We
about
were
the wastelands.
using the
They're
orb
halfway
to
there.
track it the whole time.
Yes, but we didn't find it using the orb. We found it via the runestone.
Is it possible for you to leave a copy or some portion of your map for these people here so that they might at least navigate the area around Foundtown more easily?
I don't think we tell them anything until we know more.
I could make them a copy, but I don't know if that would help if everything moves and they just navigate to and from the other waystones anyways.
Yeah.
I don't think
There's
I don't
200
think we
people
should
here.
work
can't
with
trust
anybody
them
here.
with this kind of knowledge.
we should just plant them some carrots, sew up their clothes,
I'm gonna
and then
do a few things too.
send a rescue party back once we get back to Prismari.
And we
Yes.
may know more then about what the right thing to do is with the nest.
Just support people. So
we
sad.
will.
I know.
I agree with you. I want to come back and help them too. We'll do this. Let's make a pact together. You and I. We'll come back here. We'll rescue these people. But we have more important things.
No,
Right.
I know.
I will
We
agree
all
to
will.
that too. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
we all agree. I just
The second law.
The second law.
Yeah.
We will rescue these people.
yeah, we will
It's
rescue
our job
them,
to help
Yeah.
people.
Once we have figured out.
but we
more.
can't risk the nest
No,
falling into anyone's hands.
Of course
we need
not.
to protect
Of course
it
not.
first.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I was. That's
Yes.
why I was advocating
We-
for keeping it with us because we could protect it. But I understand.
I think maybe part of our responsibility as a group and as the second law is also to maybe make some of these difficult decisions and weighing the balance of things like this.
Like that one
I'm
guy.
just worried, Tam, that having it with us, having powerful, scholarly magic users, knowing that we have it, puts us at great danger, and we may not be able to protect it from someone more powerful than us.
Believe me, I know there's a lot of bad, powerful people out there in the world.
If we leave it here, we're the only ones who know it's here.
It's just no. There's no guarantees. We can
No.
fully lose it again.
There never
There's
is.
no way to
You're
know.
right, you're right.
There never is, but we know about it and we can keep tabs and, make sure that it stays hidden.
Better than nothing.
I still think that the first step is go in, check on it.
Yeah, we gotta at least make sure that things seem stable before we leave it again.
Where
Tam,
should we do that?
Do you remember? You're a scholarly man. When we were in there before, do you remember the rate at which it was pulsing?
I think it was
Was it like a
every
heartbeat?
60 seconds or something like that.
It was like a
it was
heartbeat.
either a heartbeat or it was like once a minute. I can't remember.
Okay,
It
I'm
was,
just-
it was-
yeah,
I think
I
it was once a minute.
It was it was.
I'm just
pretty
asking
slow.
the
It was
person
like
who
every
I think
once in a
would be
while
most
would
likely to
Yeah.
track that information. I don't know.
Yeah, in character questions.
It was in, yeah, it was Anara asking Tam because Tam would likely know.
Big brain.
I didn't write down how often, but
Well, we can figure out.
it was because there was like
Make it up.
the room outside that had the
Storytelling.
light on the outside as like the status,
Yeah.
and
It
was
then
pretty
the
slow.
interior. Yeah,
it was slow.
So I think Nik-Nak
well,
is right. We would, before we
we-
make a final decision,
at least
we
to make sure nothing has changed.
Is
Yeah,
it still
agreed.
slow? Is it much faster? Is it
So-
a
Do we
little bit
want
faster?
to wait until later till we're outside of the circle of the town to go down into the
I
nest?
think it should be all in one. I think we should have everything ready and done, be able to check on this, and then have our spot to leave it and get
then-
out.
and then leave.
Yeah, I say go in while we're here.
So while we're still have a little
I
bit
agree,
more
yeah.
time in town,
And we only need like one
We-
person to go in.
Maybe two, just buddy system.
maybe we do some of our chores and spend a little bit of time bettering off some of the
Harmony.
people while we can.
Distract the town with a fantastic performance.
Right.
While the rest of us. do
Is
what we
anyone
need to
else really good at making a map?
I practiced my.
I'm good with
dead
it.
drawing.
Later!
Yeah.
do. Wait,
I mean-
I could do that later.
I'm just thinking while we do the checking on the inside of the nest.
Are we doing that in town?
Yes.
I thought we were going to be doing it.
Well, how will we get back to the town if we leave the town?
No,
Well, we're just
No, I
not.
think that's
be
why
leaving
10
it right after we
I
check
think that's
it.
why 10 said
I
all
think
in
we
one.
do
All in one.
So
basil
are we-
plants. Some
Are we
carrots.
take care of all
research
our stuff.
first,
Yeah,
and then we
community
leave town,
service.
and then we check on the nest. Right?
Yeah, check on the nest where we are going to be leaving
Wait, I
it.
thought we were leaving the nest in the town because
Oh.
this is the place we can find.
Yeah, if
We
we
may
leave it
not be able to
outside of the
find it
town.
out.
Yeah,
Outside of the town.
if we're leaving it, I agree.
We
just
know
leave it
we
in the
can
town.
find
I
found
think-
town.
Oh, I thought the risk was that then one of the people in town
They'll
would
just
find
Yeah,
it.
same.
Yeah.
They won't find it if we distract them.
And if we find Found Town, we don't need to use the orb, so we can bury it deep enough so that it doesn't get scried.
And with the lead.
Yeah, we can do lead.
Okay.
I can put it deep in the
Okay.
ground.
We'll-
Okay, that makes
we'll-
sense.
Okay.
We'll have an
That makes
old-fashioned
sense.
map.
Yeah.
X marks the spot.
Okay.
That's right.
I see. Okay.
Let's not lose that.
We can bury it under the carrot garden.
Kill.
Just deep under
Give it to
there.
Mole.
And then mark the space.
Yeah, fully.
That's the cover. Is we're digging a new plot of land
We're
Everyone
planting
needs to
carrots.
Yeah.
dig 6 feet deep to
Yeah.
make.
for carrots.
Yeah.
Zakkai, are you able to maybe sense below the ground around here to see if, make sure there's no caverns or anything that people could find a different way
Yeah.
around that kind of idea?
Yeah, I think I could do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do think a distraction of some kind.
I can do a distraction.
I know you very good at that.
I just do
Very
want
good
a
at that.
little bit of time
Oh yeah.
before the distraction, community service wise. I want to make my map, but I want
There's
to look
time
at
for all
these
of that.
waystones too, and just
So-
maybe something there can help us as well.
So we need inside checking the rate of the pulsing is one thing.
Mhm.
Finding a spot to bury,
Mm.
mapping the runes,
Mm-hmm.
and then lastly, burying the nest, keeping the key with us,
Mm-hmm.
And then
then
leaving.
leaving.
Do we have a? Let's see. If we're going to construct, Nik-Nak, you can make things out of metal too, right? And
Yeah, like a
kind of
box.
Make,
You can
yeah,
make
make
anything.
Sure.
Make a box
A
to
box
put
in
the
a
nest
box.
in.
Yeah.
I think it just needs to be maybe like this thick, and then the nest we can put inside, seal it, then no one can scry on it, and we'll bury it somewhere that we know, hopefully under some carrots. And do we need maybe
It's in the carrot stand.
somewhere
There's always the
somewhere
nest in
more-
the carrot stand.
Yeah.
maybe somewhere more surreptitious to make the box for the nest, so that people don't wonder what we're doing?
Yeah.
Perhaps under the cover of the you have lots of songs, right?
Okay,
They need
yes.
they need
Something
to
cheerful.
cheer them up for
Okay.
a couple of hours.
It'll either make them very happy or very sad.
Let's. So maybe we. Okay, that's a good. I was like, so we'll split up. We'll do our community service. We'll come back together. I'll play some music in the center of town, away from wherever the best spot seems to be to bury the nest.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Trinity service! And I just start digging
And-
holes with my scissors.
Everyone stay together. Buddy system. Buddy system.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
Goddamn. Okay.
I'll play
For one thing, there's never a time where Kiln is not with at least one of you. He is glued to
Terrified.
one of you.
Mm,
He
yeah,
is
well,
certain that you are
you're gonna
sticking
leave
out,
without
so
him.
he will
Yeah.
not leave you.
Yeah. Because that's what he
Fair
would
enough.
do, was leave without us. So.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Well, who does he want to go with?
Not me.
I'm gonna do some community service.
He
as
stays
well.
with me. He's getting another bonnet.
He can.
Yeah.
He can come with me. I'm gonna do a little walk around the perimeter.
Harmony would
A
love
nice
to
big
have
bow.
you accompany her to her performance.
I
I
could.
can go ahead and
I could
do
use
that.
some protection.
Very
I will say, while you're out and about doing your community service, we'll highlight all those in a moment. Nik-Nak.
Yep.
As you wander through Foundtown, on your usual kind of like subconscious hunt for scrap and anything that is useful to you, you are incredibly frustrated to find that hardly anything is of use here at all. This small town is cobbled together from what the woods are able to provide and whatever these poor lost souls have brought with them, and everything here is either useless or actively being used. But you also understand, you also come from a place where every last resource is precious and could be a step between life and death. But, right there, literally a glimmer of hope underneath one of the tall kind of watchtowers. You see kind of like buried in the grass, a sort of like rusted, but still fully metal, like broken kind of pike, just kind of stuck in the ground. You grab it,
Mm-hmm.
grab it, open the bag, kind of toss it in, and for the first time ever, something comes out.
Oh. Well. Okay.
And the translation. It is written in Zakkai.
Uh-huh.
As you wander the crowd, or wander the town, you certainly draw some attention. There is a wide variety of people that are trapped here in Found Town, but no Loxodon seems to have ever made it here. You always welcome the curious minds and questions of people, but sometimes it does get a bit much. So as you kind of veer off and sort of try to set up a spot or find an area that you can do your weaving and your kind of contribution, you do find something that does catch your eyes and you're a bit surprised to see. Sort of like, not on the full like outskirts of town, but on a small little like sequestered quiet area. You do see, hanging low in a branch on a tree, a web of blue yarn, woven almost like a cat's cradle into beautiful diamond shape and geometric patterns. Little baubles and shards of glass dangle as charms or tokens. The yarn is very old and worn, no telling how long it has been here or who may have woven it, but the pattern is familiar to you, a common one among fellow worshippers. This small weave is a humble shrine to Emya. And the light kind of streaks through the kind of like fading light as the sun starts to set behind the canopy of the trees, kind of streaks in through between little bits, and you kind of like see it refract through the glass shards, kind of like scatter little beams of light in this small closed area. You swear for a moment in those shimmers, fleeting streams of light, you almost see a gentle face, eyes closed, soft, content smile of peaceful serenity, a sense of calm, peace, and security. It's a beautiful sight, but much like peace and tranquility, it's all too fleeting and fragile. There's a moment, or there's more to this web of yarn, and a reason that it calls to you. You aren't quite sure how you know, but it's a feeling that you know to be true from the tips of your toes to the tip of your trunk. That yarn, that blue web of yarn, was woven by the kindred weft.
Oh, shit, okay. It's like up in a tree, or like what's it around? Sorry.
Sort of like a few like low-hanging branches.
Okay.
And it's sort of just kind of woven.
Yeah, like a spider web kind of deal. Very kind of like heart racing. Not really sure how or why, especially in a place like this, there would be something that was woven on truly, the relic that Tem has been investigating, searching for, trying to, research for a long time now, but kind of also makes sense that something from there would end up in a place like this, especially where a bunch of people from all different walks of life end up basically tossed together and end up having to create a community to build their lives, to make peace with each other if they were at war or didn't get along. So like, it makes sense in Tem's mind as he sees this, like how truly, like, the chances of this happening and stumbling upon it so little, but it makes so much sense that there would be something that had touched the kindred weft here in Found Town. I think he's not going to touch it, but I think he's going to take a moment and, like, as the light is coming through and refracting, gonna just kind of sit underneath it and perform a little meditation, just trying to like catch the energy that's coming off of this, like, his very excited response to this, moving into what radiates off this, which is really like peace, understanding, unity, and I think it kind of strengthens his resolve to get back here and like prove to himself that this is what his mission is all about, is like finding the proof that people can come together, create a community, and get along in true peace without anyone dominating someone else, and making it so that everyone pulls their fair share and is treated with the same amount of respect.
Give me a religion check. That's awesome.
Okay, come on. That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You sort of like lower yourself and sit on the ground, sort of semi beneath this kind of web of yarn in these branches. Sitting it and literally just lowering yourself. You're a very tall person. Lowering yourself sort of like just under someone's average height gives you a very new, different perspective as you kind of look up at this web of yarn. Looking up at it, it looks even more familiar in a different way now, where you see that the kind of like the way that the yarn stretches from that branch to that branch and hooks around here and weirdly does not go to the place that you expect it to. It kind of curves off to the side. From this lower angle and perspective from an average person's height, the pattern and the shape that the yarn kind of makes very, very closely resembles a map. And there is that single piece of glass that's sort of like woven into it that marks a point on the map off in the middle of the ocean.
Oh. Okay. Oh my god. And I like Tem kind of recognizes it as Elberin, as like the known world. Shit. Okay. Where's Harmony with her map making skills when I need her? Yeah, just in his contemplation, Tem will put this into his memory, and his resolve. He'd gotten swept up in this wonderful adventure with his new friends, and obviously these things are very important to him, but it kind of reignites that spark of like, this is it. This is a sign of, why I was out and about looking, searching, and renews kind of that vigor. And he just says a little prayer to Enya. Bear with me as I find where I've written it. I had written it previously. I just don't want to quote it wrong. Here it is. He'll just say Emya's blessing, which is, may the kindred weft weave your soul back into the tapestry of unity. Again, kind of like moment of peace as he like contemplates this. I think he'll leave a little like one of his spools of thread just kind of like at the base of the tree, like in one of the little notches, just to be like, I recognize I was here, I saw this. And then with renewed vigor, he kind of like stands up, shakes himself off, and then like goes to walk away to kind of get working on clothes, but like turns back one last time and kind of squints through his monocle back at it and walks off.
Harmony, what are you providing as your community service?
Well, I'm walking around. I want to do. I don't know how large is Foundtown. Kind of this like circle.
It's probably no more than a couple hundred feet across. And like it's sort of, it's not like a perfect sphere. It sort of like is amorphous a little bit. But you can see from one side of the town to the other without like much obstruction. It's quite small.
Okay, I feel like I started out because I wanted to add to Selka's map and insert like an inset or whatever for like an enlarged map of Foundtown.
Mm-hmm.
So I would imagine like I'm walking around and I'm like, there's not that much to map. But so I make my map of what is here in Foundtown and buildings or whatever and people's tree houses, that kind of thing. Maybe like where the stones are, all the stones around the town have the same rune.
Yeah, they all have like different colors, but seem to have the same identical like mark on it.
And I'll just make a little note more on like a separate. So I'm doing the inset of the map, and I'm also keeping a page of like annotations and notes on the map and the map items, like a key / just annotations on it.
Yeah.
So I'll draw a little picture of the symbol. I also want to find if there's like an area where they keep all of the sniffers.
Sort of on the edge of the northern part of town. there is a sort of like makeshift fence kind of made out of sticks and wood that are able to kind of harvest from the trees. That does sort of pen in. You count 3 of those large sniffer kind of like badger skunk creatures that are all kind of huddled in a pen. There are a few people that seem to not guard, but like maintain and kind of tend to them, that are kind of constantly around them, either feeding them or brushing them or adjusting the. They also seem, while they're in the within the town, they seem to remove the stones from their heads. They untie them and like give them a break essentially. But it seems like if Sniffer ever leaves a pen, it doesn't leave without one of those stones tied to its head.
How close? Well, I'll approach, I guess, to where the stones are as close as I can before somebody is either standing there guarding or whatever. And if someone's there, then I would just go up to them and, hi. Well, I'm sure you saw it. We just arrived today.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. But have hope. I think. Well, you see, I was a student at Prismari before I was stuck here.
You had such a bright future.
I know. I'm still grieving the loss of that future. However, I did learn some magic, and you know, if I maybe practice enough, maybe I could find a way to try to help us navigate out of the woods. Do you mind if I look at the stones and see if there's anything that might seem familiar, or maybe I can try to sense a connection between them? I was thinking if we at least start by mapping as we find the other 15 waystones, maybe we could try to get some sort of map and maybe find our way out of here.
The moment that you kind of even give an inkling that like maybe one day I'll be able to, there's an almost animalistic hunger that you see rises in this person's eyes as they like almost kind of lean forward. And as you like keep talking, you can see that they are like half listening and already trying to like figure out what can you do to get me out of here. And what by the time you're done talking, they kind of reach out and kind of grab your arm like, you think you might be able to get someone of us out of here?
Well, I can't.
With magic?
Not for a couple years. It usually takes a few years of studying
The stones. You said the stones might help you?
Maybe, if I could see the symbols on them.
Immediately, it's a gnomish person kind of scrounge around, looks over, starts looking through their grass. He sees like a small, like faint, little like kind of faint yellow kind of like pulse, and he kind of runs over, rips like the grass apart before he rips out of the ground one of those stones, maybe it's like about this big, with the dull yellow rune in it, and brings it to you. Take it.
Okay.
Do whatever you need to do with it. Whatever you need to do with it. I don't care how long it takes.
Okay. It will take some
months, years. I don't care. Whatever.
Hopefully
you can
not
do.
years, but definitely months, maybe a year. But if I can study them, I can maybe start to figure something out. Do I feel any is there a pull as soon as I'm holding the stone or anything like that?
No.
Do you know how they work when you attach them to the sniffers? How do they use them to find the way?
They don't really find each other unless you're outside. When you're in the ring, it's just a rock.
But then how does the ring work? There's also runes on the ring. Do you know how the ring works?
I don't know about magic. I was hoping maybe something like you could tell us.
Well, I'm trying, but I don't know that much yet either. I never even graduated. But I'll try my best. Well, let me keep this safe. Let me write down each of the runes, and I'll start there. And I'll write in each of the symbols and the color, just kind of write down all of them. Are there 15 there?
Yeah, there's from what you can see, there's different their colors are all pretty. They're all in the same kind of color wheel family. There's 2 different pastel pinks that are this much off, but you can tell there's slight differences between them. But as you kind of go through, and I'll say with your amount of like study and going through, you do count 15 individual like color symbol combinations.
Okay, well, this is good. That this is all of them, and so I know I'm not missing anything. How close are we to the edge of the circle?
Pretty close, maybe not even like 30 feet from like the last one that you see, because they do keep this sniffer sort of towards the edge of the wood or the edge of the town.
Okay, I just want to feel what the sniffers feel when they are holding using one of the stones. Will you walk to the edge with me and just hold? Oh, what about? Do you have a rope? Can you tie a rope around me so I can just quickly walk out, see how it feels, and then you can pull me back in?
Make a persuasion check.
No, didn't think this would be crazy. No, this poor gnome. That's 29.
Jeez.
If it will help, whatever it takes. He maybe like runs over and ties some of the rope from one of those stones and kind of runs over, ties
Tie it
you.
around. Okay. As soon as I step outside the circle, just count to 5, and then not too hard. Don't knock me over, but then just pull me back in. Okay. And I'll just, as I'm holding one of the stones, walk across the line, and I just want to. Does it feel like the orb? Does it kind of start to pull me? What does it feel when I'm holding the stone?
It's less of like the stone like physically pulling you. It's more like as you kind of like walk out. You like feel the stone in your hand, and it feels heavier than it is in a certain way.
Like lead.
Kinda.
Wood.
Yeah. And you, for whatever reason, you kind of like glance off into the woods. That way. You don't know why. You don't know how. That direction is probably where you should go.
Does it remind me of any sort of specific spell, or like does it have like a sense that's like similar, like, oh, I can see that it's like this type of magic or something?
It feels very similar to like a locate person or locate object kind of spell. It seems to be like they're constantly under that same influx of magic.
That's impressive. They basically made it permanent between the two stones, it seems like. And then I imagine he probably is like tugging me back in.
Yeah, and a few seconds later you feel a sharp like tug.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Did it help? Did it help?
I could sense some of the magic, so I think I have a starting point. Keep it safe. We need to make sure we keep all of them. But I think I have a starting point for how I could maybe try to start experimenting and seeing if I could make a similar spell.
All right.
Okay. And just for now, keep this between us. I don't want anyone else to get too disappointed if it takes me kind of a long time. But I'm gonna work as hard as I can.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And we're planting carrots too. We're gonna start planting carrots, and if you have any clothing with,
I don't think I've had a carrot in 15 years.
Basil,
Tear comes down his eye.
Basil can grow really great carrots. They're so delicious. And if you have any clothing with holes, Tem will sew them up.
I have a lot of this.
It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna try my hardest, and you know, it won't be too long, and then we can all find a way out of here.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Let me finish, and I'm gonna play some music for everyone later tonight.
That'll be nice.
Okay. Do you have a favorite song?
I don't remember.
I'm gonna make a new one. I'm gonna make a new song for you. A beautiful song.
You see a weird sort of
Forgotten the
like
sound of music.
realization in their mind as they like probably for the first time in a very long time they realize that they don't remember what song they used to like, and it's a very sort of like inward collapsing moment for this person as he sort of like turns away.
Damn.
This man's gonna
Okay.
be destroyed.
Basically,
Okay.
How many
Do you
was
have
your
a dog?
passive perception?
12.
12.
I have a great passive investigation.
You notice as you kind of like are stepping away and leaving, maybe not 15, 20 seconds after this conversation, that gnome runs over to the other keepers and starts and pointing in your direction, but going like,
Okay. I'll walk a little faster. And I think that was all I wanted to do.
by then the like
So,
rest of
I'll
the
find the rest of the
pen attendants are carefully watching you as you leave.
I'll just kind of turn and go back and find whoever's in my group closest and just tag along with them as we're finishing up our rounds.
Basil.
Yep.
What does your community service involve other than digging random holes in the ground?
I imagine
Is
just
that
trying.
not enough for you?
It might be just that. I don't know.
I imagine like after that, kind of just like taking a break and like whew, just like walking around and like seeing what other people could be like building things or like fixing things up or just being like, may not look strong, but like I could lift, and I just like try to like lift up anything, and like any moment that I'm like struggling, I'm just like, there's like all of a sudden like the gears in my leg just like start going like overdrive, and then I'm able to like get it up stronger like through the help of Ken's legs and just like helping around doing
There
odd
does
jobs
seem
if I can.
does seem to be almost like even in the late evening, there's a constant like flow of work or something to do here. Something needs to be repaired. Some like new hovel needs to be built. So there's plenty of like things to find to do. A lot of people, once they realize that you are lending a hand, there is a large like line that starts following you of people making inquiries if you can help with
Thank
this.
goodness you're here. Shit.
As soon as you make yourself known as a person helpful, there is 20 people willing to take advantage of it.
I have as many hands as I do feet. Let's go.
Actually, you have one
more hand than you do foot.
Well, great. I'm twice as efficient now.
Anara, Kiln sort of like lingers behind you. What are you doing?
I don't know what kind of skills I have that would help these people fight. Maybe some of them could use some help learning how to defend themselves.
I don't think that's gonna help any of these bozos.
Well, people, they lose people, they said. They're armed, they don't have many weapons.
Boo-hoo.
Could you find someone else to learn with?
No, I think I picked the right person.
I don't think so. Well, I'm going to go and see if I can be of some help. Maybe Kayla has some ideas on what I could do. I'll find Kayla.
Yeah, I'll go with you.
I just walk off.
He follows you.
I'm not trying to stop him, but
No, and he
essentially
keeps
ignoring him.
a healthy distance, but there's every time that you think you might have gotten away from him, there's that hint of sulfur in the air that kind of gives away the fact that he's around.
She was in like a treehouse. Is that where she lived? Okay, I'll head over that way. See if I can spot. Is she working on something? Is she doing something?
You do see that she's up in the top, like the canopy area, at the treehouse that she had pointed out was her residence. You see that she's talking to a few other people that seem to be foragers, kind of counting off what they were able to bring back from the woods, kind of making lists and tallies before like sending them away. And then she seems to be very part of like the organizational process and like documenting how much supplies that they have, what they have to eat.
I'll see if I can attract her attention and ask if I can have a word.
I mean, she has to wait for just a minute, but like finishes her business before coming back to you. And yeah, is there anything?
My friends are starting to help. I'm not sure how I can be useful. Any thoughts on that?
Well, we are. Are you good at pickling?
No, I don't think so.
Counting.
I can Yeah, counting what?
Let's see. We have a few crates of peaches that need to be counted.
Counting.
There's a few. Let's see. We've got potatoes. That's one of the very few
You
things that
mean
can grow.
logging and copying?
Yes.
I'm good at copying.
We could use a hand.
Oh, Kelm will help also, right?
Weirdly, he's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, okay, good.
But you
Yeah.
smell him around.
You mentioned before that, and I noticed that some people carry weapons around here. Do you have much in the way of trouble? What do you need to defend yourself against?
Well, we're fortunate enough that few things are bold enough to wander into Fountown. Only once a blue moon does any of the creatures from the woods wander in. And we're able to handle ourselves. The few of us that can fight. The scouts that go out to look for things to hunt, those are the ones that we risk losing.
Well, perhaps in more time I could offer my services and help with scouting. It's something I'm good at. But for now, tell me what you need copying and counting.
Here, killing beasts and counting barrels is equally useful.
Okay, well, let's start with the counting.
Kind of like leads you off, hands you sort of like a just plank of wood with parchment, like scrape of parchment that's big, and like a quill that's, again, you can tell that they are relying heavily on like making a scroll last as long as possible because paper does not come by here very often.
Oh, I have paper.
Oh,
I'll get into my traveler's pack and pull out a few sheets of really nice parchment. And do you?
Not often we get fresh supply.
So for what it's worth, have this.
I appreciate it. We all do.
And tell me what to do.
Kind of like leads you off into the treehouse that she sort of like called her home. Seems to be half domicile, half storehouse, and she sort of like starts pointing out things where things are stashed, things like that. Zakkai, what is your contribution to Fountown?
Zakkai wanted to go around and build like stone huts for people who maybe don't have very secure like shelter, or for anyone who might wander into town. Zakkai is kind of familiar with like, you know, street life, and he really feels for these people, so he wants to build as many as he can before leaving.
Give me another D20 roll, add your wisdom modifier.
Not one. Yeah, that's a 6 total.
You get through like
Fuck these people.
it's less of
Sounds
a
like tunes.
sort of like fuck these people
Gonna need
moment
the-
where you're sort of like controlling the earth and forming like walls and whatnot, and before like you even finish the first like stone hut, it does like kind of start to sag and crumble a little bit. There's less rock here and a lot more just earth. Not that you can't like do it. It's more, it gives you that kind of sense that you wish that you had more like time or opportunity. It's something that you definitely could do.
Yeah.
But maybe not something you'll be able to do at the moment. But you're able to at least sort of like, it's not like you're doing nothing by any means. And it's during one of those times where you're on hut number 3 at this point. As you sort of like reach out and are like, now that you sort of like know the limitation of the earth here, you're focusing more and concentrating. And as you like hold your hand out and start sculpting sort of the earth to make a window or the curvature of a door, you like raise your hand and you feel starts off as a prick and then a pain that you have not felt in a very long time, but it's still a pain that you're familiar with, rip down your arm. As you feel something beneath the wrappings on your wrist start to like, almost like you feel like as if 1,000 little needles are like poking into your skin.
I'm gonna pull up some of the wrappings and take a peek at what I am expecting to see.
You see, almost as if it's a reverse tattoo artist, but the needle is punching up out of the skin instead of going into it. As a tattoo starts to like paint itself across around your wrist, forming something that you've seen before, a kind of coiled snake kind of wrapping around your wrist, a pattern in the scale of the snake, and you're aware that these patterns all hold their own meaning, or more often than not, a command. You know that the pattern on this snake means return. Something or someone would like you back.
Shit. I'm gonna take another kind of peek at it. Just kind of wrap it to cover as much as I can.
You're also aware that these tattoos do not go away until that command is completed.
After I kind of finish with the third hut, if I feel like I can't really do too much else to help, I'm just gonna kind of like cover myself and go look for one of the others. We didn't really agree on a meeting place, so I'm just gonna wander.
I'll say the first person you see is with a very long line of people behind him, Basil.
Hey, Basil.
Help!
Just like being like a bunch of kids like dog piled on top of me.
Come on. There we go. Get out. Hey, you good? What's going on here?
A lot of people need help.
Too
Too much help.
I will help you help them. Hi, everybody. What do you need? And then I'll just...
30 voices at once. And immediately start pointing and asking, making requests. You've got a decent laundry list of things as part of your community service here.
I thought of another thing also that I wanted to
Absolutely,
ask. At some point,
please.
once I've done a bit of this stuff, I said, oh, also it occurs to me, this feels like a dangerous place. Is there anyone who's sick or injured right now that needs assistance?
No one's sick, luckily. There are one or two folks that are injured by the woods. Do you know medicine?
A little bit, yeah. My friend Harmony is going to perform some music for everyone this evening as a way of perhaps taking our minds off a
Is she
situation.
good?
She's fantastic.
I have no idea how much of a relief that is because we don't have any musicians here. We have
She's very, very talented.
those that have tried, and we appreciate it. We really do. I have not heard music in a very long time. Well, that's not true. I've heard music recently. Practice is important, as is rehearsal, and
she's
I feel
a
that's not-
student of music as well as of many other things, and her
That would be
performances are
refreshing.
spectacular. Spread the word. Make sure that everyone in the town is
absolutely.
going to be there for the performance.
No one's gonna want to miss this. If she is indeed skilled as you say.
Perhaps if there's anyone who has a wound or an injury that I could take a look and see if I can be of any help once I've finished counting all these potatoes.
I'll show you. I'll introduce you to the wounded, but I'll spread the word.
Spread the word. She's very good.
And she kind of like immediately goes off. As soon as she kind of like rounds the, she like heads out of the door from the tree hut, and as soon as she leaves, Kiln kind of like steps in from the other side and kind of like folds his arm, leans against the wall, spreading the word about the distraction. You are smarter than I thought.
Well, appearances can be deceptive. I thought you were loyal and friendly.
Then I don't know where you got that,
Yeah, me either.
but that's pretty good.
Can you find someone else to bother?
No,
You're not going to help these people, I suppose.
they're dead already. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean that in that they're dead already. There's no way you can help all these people.
Well, being dead isn't quite what you think it is, my friend. And maybe since you're going to end up in that place one day, you could have a little sympathy.
See, that's why I'm not letting you out of my sight. I think there's something that we have in common.
Other than we despise each other.
That's true. But you talk about being dead as if something I haven't done already.
Good for you.
I don't think we went to the same place. Where did you go?
Doesn't have a name. Anyway, I'm busy.
You can, hide behind all that, the steely visage, the closed off, quiet, moody thing we got going on. I like it. It's a good look. But it doesn't hide the fact that wherever you went, it's pretty scary. I know because I don't get scared of anything. But I got scared where I ended up.
So have some sympathy. People don't know what it's like.
They don't get sympathy. They're the lucky ones. They don't know yet.
This is tiring. Count some potatoes.
8. There's
Good
definitely
job.
not 8.
I'm gonna just pretend he's not there. For the
As you
rest.
sort of like keep counting, everyone else going out through their various community services and portions of kind of like contributing what you can to this like poor collection of people in downtown.
Yeah, I think if like Tem spreads the word of people to come to him with like any clothes that need mended or whatever, and he's literally just kind of like either casting mending if he can do it by that, or otherwise doing like bigger fixes by hand. But if there's any of the older folks that come through to him, he would probably inquire at least about like, 1, how long that weaving has been in the trees, and 2, if someone put it there or if it's just kind of like appeared one day, just like seeing if there's a person who comes across that would have, that he would inquire about for that.
Give me a just roll a d20, add your charisma modifier.
It's just a 10.
You're hard pressed to find anybody. A lot of people that you ask say that it's always been there. Some people don't even know what you're talking about and are like, "There's yarn in the tree." And it is a couple of the older folk that do recognize it or say, like, "Oh yeah, that's been there." I'm not quite sure how long it's been there. Only 1 or 2 people that you eventually kind of get to say that, like, "Oh yeah, that's been there for a good like 30, 40 years, I think." Only one person is able to give you any kind of like answer. You do hear a man says that a woman named Nina Fletch
Fletcher.
once apparently from what they don't like outright say that like she was a cleric, but from what they describe as like her like she was like a healer here in Fountain for a little while and was able to like cure people of their injuries, and it sounds very familiar to you of like the magic of a cleric. They do say that she died many years ago, killed by a dancing flower.
That's so horrible. Well, I appreciate that. I stumbled upon it and was very taken by its beauty. But here,
We leave it there as a sort of tribute.
yeah, I think that it's a wonderful thing, and especially in a place that doesn't have much signs of hope. I think it's a wonderful thing to have. And here, let me fix that for you, and I'll darn up his socks or whatever he needed there.
Only match now. My socks haven't matched for years.
It's the little things, truly.
And especially like through you and everyone else's like contribution, 100% it is very much the little things that sort of like you start to like piece together that these people don't get the very basic stuff that like you take for granted, like matching socks. People that don't have that here. People don't have full houses or rooms or even full meals. A lot of people here also the sort of like communal feast and meal that they kind of seem to be preparing at the end of the evening is meager. And that people, usually parents and older folk go without so that young ones can, or older people can eat. There's some set aside for the sniffers because they are needed and vital, so they have to keep them alive. But it is a town of desperation and surviving by necessity.
Man, Zakkai, I'm really glad we helped so many people. Wish we told people about Harmony's show, though.
Oh, yeah, we could have been telling them all along.
Dang it.
Weirdly, despite the fact that you haven't told a single soul, everyone seems to be sort of communally gathering towards the end of the evening, gathering up towards a large kind of bonfire they have in the center of town where Harmony plans to make a performance to cheer everyone up and potentially distract them. We're going to catch that performance next time.
Another musical performance.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that's the bar, sucker!
Yeah,
It's like
Starting to
coming
pressure you
for a
into
pretend
performances.
world that would take me away from the.
I thought they were gonna have a community set up.
And then it's like, oh my god, this is so depressing.
It's not the happy. It's not exactly Disneyland.
It makes sense, but
No,
like,
yeah.
going into it, we were
I
like,
know that
"Shoot,
that
let's go
gnome
to
is gonna be
town."
crushed when Harmony disappears.
Queen-
Cobblestones. And...
He's gonna be waiting.
Yeah, that gnome is just gonna be waiting.
But until next time, don't get lost because you might not get
Wear your
found.
blindfold.
Wear your blindfold.
You might-
Anytime you go outside.
You might get found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking found out.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.